Ahoy, landlubbers. It's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. Welcome to my room. It is Saturday, March 29th, 2025. There is a helicopter. I don't know if you can hear it. I want to say no, but yesterday there was something that I didn't think was registering, and you can, like, kind of hear it if you're listening for it. It's, like, not really obtrusive, so you're like, it's probably not a big deal, but there is a helicopter making rounds. I don't know why that's happening. Look, that's not important. What is important is that, as I discussed on yesterday's stream, a new game was released this week. One that, to my knowledge, previously had no release date, just suddenly was available on Steam. And that game is Rosewater. I don't know if this is the correct corner for myself, but I went back and checked, and like this was the corner I was using for Lamplight City, so I'll go with this for now. What is Rosewater? I'm glad no one asked. Rosewater is a point-and-click adventure game, sort of retro-style thing. We do a lot of these on the channel. This released this week, so obviously it's not actually retro, but it is inspired by point-and-click games that came out in like the 80s and the 90s, and to a lesser extent beyond that, but like their heyday was sort of like mid-80s to like mid-late 90s. It is by the same company that made Lamplight City. Lamplight City was a like detective fiction set in like an alternate history Victorian era city where like a pair of like police detectives were doing an investigation. One of them died under like, you know, tragic circumstances while like pursuing a criminal, and then that guy haunted his partner, and they had a really complicated relationship trying to solve enough crimes that they could continue to independently like follow leads on the guy who killed the ghost. It's a really interesting premise. It has some frustrating elements to it, but it is on my very short list of like modern era point and click adventure games that are like genuinely like auto recommend. I like them quite a lot. So Rosewater is set, from my understanding, largely in the same universe, which is to say it is like an alternate history thing. I believe if my negligible amount of checking the details on this is correct, instead of it being the United States of America, America is known as Vespuccia. And we moved from like an urban setting that was like somehow simultaneously like New York City, but also New Orleans, and like definitely like strongly influenced by like Victorian England. We are in the Vespuccian West. I don't know what alliterative word would replace wild to go along with the West, but here we are. I've played only enough of this game to try and balance the audio, which I think I'm reasonably happy with. We'll see as that goes. The dialogue audio levels are like a little uneven, so like some people may occasionally seem loud. I think we'll just deal with that. But one thing I wanted to note before we get started, I know basically nothing about this game other than made by the same developers, have been looking forward to this, seems really cool. From what little I've seen, it almost feels like this is more in line with Hobbs Barrow than it is with Lamplight City, and we'll address that after we get introduced to the game, what I mean by that. But also, the soundtrack is on point. Like, I am not a huge Western fan, but like the music is very evocative. I'm very impressed with it after like 2.5 minutes or whatever. So settings should be good. Let's go ahead and new game. One other thing I learned is you can skip the cutscenes, but please don't. The game does not like it if you do that.
Boarded the 743 from Pierre-Lorraine for Rosewater, Western
The train indeed.
No baggage to speak of, in the literal or metaphorical sense. Just a little hope. And that doesn't take up much space.
Choo-choo. Yeah, clicking back in the game definitely seems to have caused some level of desync, which I love. May not be huge, but I hate it
Much
nonetheless.
has been said about the western frontier. The perilous wilderness, the lawless
That's right,
towns,
Ting Ting
the
Train.
tough, hardened folk who make their way out there. Usually to get away from something worse. I suppose I'm about to become one of them myself. There's just one thing Rosewater's got that no place else has. An
A big spider?
opportunity with my name on it.
Composer is Mark Venus. I hope that's not how that's pronounced. But also, Mark Venus doing good work.
The thoughts in my head are running together like the landscape outside the window. Excitement and trepidation and boredom mixing like the scrub and rocks and soil into one long blur.
I mean, one thing I do like about Westerns are the trains. They're like one of the highest forms of technology available, and so they're often prominently featured.
One thing I know, I am ready for a change of scene.
And see. Music is a bit loud compared to the narration. This, I believe, is another game where cutscenes are not affected by the options menu. We'll see how it balances when we're playing, because that's what I was checking against. But also, I just don't think... Oh yeah, Western Vespuccia, 1850. Have I played or heard of the Crimson Diamond? I don't think I've either.
Howdy, ma'am. Allow me to extend the warmest of welcomes on behalf of the town of Rosewater and its inhabitants. Folks
I
call me
immediately
Jim.
distrust this guy.
Who do I have the honor of greeting?
Harley Leger.
Delighted to make your acquaintance. Might I assist you with your luggage? That is, if you've got any.
I don't.
Ah, right. Well, what brings you to our fair town, Mrs. Leger?
So I didn't consider cutscene being different. I mean, frankly, listen, I'm not trying to be negative about this game. This is just like a blanket thing. Like, I feel like it's pretty normal to expect them to have the options applied evenly, but it just seems to be a thing where, like, I don't know if this has been true for a long time, but I've definitely noticed recently that sometimes the cutscenes are just fixed. You know, it's like back in the day when, like, they were making, like, leaps in graphics, but they would pre-render the cutscenes, so they were, like, very fixed in nature. I think it's a little like that, where it's like that cutscene was, like, its own clip that is just prepared in a static way that has, like, the audio being a certain level or whatever. So what brings us to town? I don't trust this guy. Like, I don't know. I don't like his vibe. So I feel like, how about a polite lie to just not engage?
Miss. And I'm just passing through.
Yeah, that's pretty much everybody's story, if they come here at all. Things keep going this way, and I'll be out of a job soon.
Okay, now I must take a stand. I have to either open up, which I'm not sure I'm thrilled with, or I have to be openly hostile. I'm already seeing an immediate vote for being hostile in chat. I mean, like, my body language says that I should come across as hostile. So, like, I feel like that's an appropriate response.
And what job is that? Official town pain in the neck?
Jeez, lady, did a snake bite you where the sun don't shine? I'm the town greeter. Figured that much was obvious.
Uh-huh. Look, I have an appointment to keep, if you'll excuse me.
Oh, sure. Don't stick around on my account. But a small caution. Rosewater ain't always such a sleepy little town.
Hey!
Say, I've just remembered another engagement.
This how you welcome new arrivals? I have a mind to give you a thrashing. All right, enough of that. Look, I was no choir girl.
Let's see, our options are Never got caught. Never cried as much as you. Was never quite so dumb. Thresh the child. I mean, listen. I mean, it seems like this kid is in cahoots with that other guy who I immediately don't trust. But, like, there's something definitely frustrating that's, like... He was, like, trying to commit a crime in broad daylight and then got caught and then, like, cried about it. It's like, dude, you were doing crime. You were doing crime. Yeah, I, like, never got caught. We're too crafty to get caught.
But I had the good sense not to get caught. Word of advice, kid. Don't pick your mark in broad daylight, especially not at a lawman's doorstep. Go on, beat it, or I really will give you something to cry about. Now, where in the ether is that damn publisher's office?
It was like the town greeter was supposed to be setting out targets for the pickpocket. Yeah, no, I definitely think they're in cahoots. I think that's very intentional. Alright, so we have walk is left click, double click to skip walking. I think that's like screen transitions, not just in general. Some games do, like if you double click, you just appear. Inventory, ooh, right click, that's good. Menu, escape. You can also use escape to skip cutscenes. I don't encourage it. We do have our inventory. And it contains a letter. I wonder who it's from.
October 25th, 1850. Dear Miss Leger, thank you for submitting your sample. Your writing shows real potential. I'd like to extend an invitation to meet with me at the offices of the Rosewater Post and discuss the possibility of an extended commission. How soon can you arrive in town? I await your reply and look forward to making your acquaintance. Yours, Joan Gallagher.
Do you like the foreground passersby? Can I wander immediately out into the wilderness? That would be a funny way to conduct my business. I think I can go back in the train station just in case I left something over there. Or maybe if I would like to watch the trains. No, we do have things to do, I suppose. You gotta love the constant buzzing of flies.
Soft drink crates. A sugary, fizzy way to beat the heat.
What do we have here? We have Zephram Elliott, blacksmith. That appears to be closed down. Physician Brooks T. Sedgwick, MD. Not so much closed down. Is there anything in these boxes for my
Nothing
pockets?
inside but a colony of ants. Shame. I could go for a sarsaparilla.
How do you feel about audio balance? Is dialogue still too loud? There have been a couple musical swells that are much louder than the ambient music, which always makes that tough to balance. Nothing in the barrel. But yeah, so like Hobbs Barrel we played not extremely long ago on stream. And like that was a game where like you had like a female protagonist and she was trying to excavate Hobbs Barrow. And she like went to the town and like everyone was just like openly hostile towards her. So like, I don't know, it has like a similar sensation to starting that game. Although we don't know if everyone in town is aggressively against us the way they were in that game.
I hope that isn't the town water supply.
No, we're not looking for the doctor. So we'll just keep on walking. I do appreciate that there's only one side of the street, so I don't have to worry about the other side of the street in my 2D game. Huh. That feels a little Moulin Rouge. Ignore him and enter the office is a real mood. I feel like we are a tough customer, and I feel like this does not faze us.
Hello, can I help you with something?
I'm here about the writing commission.
Ah, yes, you must be Miss Leger. I believe you and Joni exchanged some correspondence on the matter already, yes?
Yep, got the letter right here.
May I see it, please?
If you must, hang on. Here you go.
Very good. Oh, one more thing. Joni's not one for formalities. First names will do.
Noted.
Go
You
up
can
those
pick any
stairs
first
and
name
knock.
you'd like.
Thanks. What's your name?
Henry Dixon, ma'am. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Likewise.
Oh my god, does it make a rattlesnake sound every time it autosaves? Is that true? That's kind of amazing.
They seem to be pretty active around here. I hope that means steady work.
Does anyone else appreciate the fact that our name is Leger, which is extremely similar to Ledger, which is a type of book? I'm just gonna, like, do some writing here
Cozy.
to make a good impression. Just kidding, I can't do that. Okay, let's go upstairs, as directed.
Come in.
Hello, Joan. I'm Harley Leger.
Ah, yes. Nice to finally put a face to the name. Please take a load off. Whiskey?
Bit early for me, but thanks all the same.
Sensible. I like that. I, however, have had a morning, so if you don't mind.
The really exaggerated pouring sound.
Say,
Glug, glug,
have we
glug,
met
glug.
before? Something about you seems familiar.
I don't believe so, no.
Well, let's get down to the meat and potatoes, shall we? If you're going to join our little family here, I'd like to know more about you.
I think, like, part of me wants to say, like, avoid the question, but I think I like succinct biography. Because, like, even though I feel like the sort of tough guy would not want to say anything about themselves, it's clear that we want the job. So, like, I feel like we'll comply a little bit.
Me? Well, I was born and raised in New Britannia. Got out, made my way west, and started writing. I saw your ad while I was up in Pierre. Thought a change of scenery would do me good.
Well, admittedly, Rosewater isn't as cosmopolitan as it used to be.
You're
which maybe
just saying
you'll
that
find
because
it
of
to
the
your liking.
window.
There hasn't been a dull moment since I stepped off the train.
Speaking of, your writing sample had me in stitches. Haven't spent much time in Lamplight City myself, but
Hey.
your descriptions of the Toffs in Lyon. Hilarious.
That piece was inspired by my last visit a few years ago, actually.
Oh? What brought that about?
Nothing important.
Just had some things to do.
I hope you weren't there for the Lamplight City Expo.
Oh, no, it was before that.
The Expo disaster was a national tragedy, of course. But you know, I can't help remembering it as the week our paper sold more copies than it has before or since. Isn't that terrible? But enough
Four
about
tens
that.
of cakes.
Let's get back to why we're here. I loved your sample, and I like you as well, Harley. So I'm going to go ahead and offer you a commission. I'll pay you 45 crowns for it. After that, we can talk about more regular opportunities.
The illusion of choice. It's the second one for sure.
Hot damn. So, what's my assignment? A scathing commentary on Rosewater's decline? Or maybe a hard-hitting expose on the plight of the marginalized criminal youth?
Oh, no. Nothing like that. I want you to interview Gentleman Jake Ackerman.
Who?
Pull the other one. You've been living under a rock. He's a
I just
true
moved
Western
here.
legend. The Achilles of our times. We've got
Weak
a real
heels?
opportunity here. Star like that landing in our little town. I'd like something in the vein of your sample. Acerbic and mordant. But maybe not quite so acerbic.
So,
Shallow
a
and pedantic.
puff piece.
Good, you're paying attention. I want you to make Rosewater look good too. Show me a real frontier hero in a real frontier town.
Where can I find this Jake fellow?
He's taking rooms at the Jack of Diamonds just down the road. And his show is
That's a
opening
fun
today at the
name.
Opera House. So he should be around for an interview. I don't know how you're situated here, but you're
Show.
welcome to use the typewriter in the office.
I only write longhand, but I'd certainly be grateful for a quiet place to work.
Longhand. How charming. Now, if you have any questions before you go, by all means, ask.
Let's see. Let's start with Rosewater.
Any insight you can give me about the town?
It's a far cry from what it used to be. In a way, it's nice not having to hear the noise from the saloon at all hours, but... oh, I don't know. Folk who moved on took some of the charm with them.
Jake from State Farm really gets around. Just today I saw a car with the vanity plate that said, like, #1 Jake on it or something. I was like, that's gotta be Jake from State Farm, right? I mean, who else gets that plate? Tell me about the locals.
What about the folks who stayed behind?
What about him?
Tell
I
me
was
about
hoping for
him.
more details.
Far as you're concerned, the only person in Rosewater worth knowing right now is Jake Ackerman. If you're so keen to know about the rest, go meet him for yourself.
I don't want to talk to anyone. How'd you start
I'm
the paper?
curious, how did the Rosewater Post get its start?
Well, my dad was a union man. He worked the printing press for the Allied Fall Creek Miners Cooperative. Pamphlets, labour news, that sort of thing. Then the mine owners brought the Blackburns in to bust the whole operation up. My dad was laid up for months and could never work again after. But we still had to eat, didn't we? I took all the equipment from the old shop and started printing up an early version of the Post just to bring a little money in. At first, it was all just community notices and advertisements from local stores. Over time, I got the hang of the whole journalism thing and turned it into a real newspaper.
It's a fun story. I like that. Let's see. Tell me more about the Lamplight City Expo incident. Mostly just so hopefully you deliver some exposition.
The Rosewater Post reported on the Lamplight City Expo?
It was only the biggest story that year. I've still got copies of the article saved. Here, read it for yourself.
Oh, sick. I'd love that. It's implied I'm handing it to you in the most arduous fashion possible. Oh, I can do it right now. Rosewater Post disaster at Lamplight City Expo. The etheric pavilion at the Global Exposition in New Britannia, Kingsland, was the site of a terrifying disaster that claimed 15 lives on Saturday. During a demonstration by etheric researcher Dr. Bennett Clark, a device known as an etheric generator malfunctioned and released a burst of energy into the audience, instantly vaporizing 14 attendees and one stage assistant. Didn't something kind of like that happen in Loki? They, like, went to the World's Fair and, like... I don't think it was, like, a huge incident, but I feel like someone got hurt when some sci-fi device fired off or something. And I would describe the scene for the New Britannia Gazette. The thing started out with a great crackling noise, startled the ladies in attendance, and raising several cries of excitement. In the next instant, there was a blinding flash of light. After that was just screams and a horrible burning smell. If I had a nickel for every time someone described the aftermath of an encounter with me that way, I could buy this whole newspaper at least. From where I stood, I could see a bunch of folks gathered to one side of the apparatus were just gone. All that was left were shoes and hats and things and a pile of ash. And the worst thing was their shadows were still there on the wall behind. Oh, yep, that's bad. That's not good. Controversial figure in the scientific community, Dr. Clark has championed novel theories on the existence of aethericity, a supposed inexhaustible source of energy located in the upper atmosphere. The Etheric Pavilion, an exhibit jointly sponsored by Kessling Industries, Harmon and Grove, and Eastern Consolidated Coal, that's an interesting one, was intended to showcase the technology's potential before a global audience, although public enthusiasm may be somewhat dampened following the events of last weekend. Dr. Clark was taken in for questioning by authorities, but it remains to be seen whether he or any of his sponsors will be held legally responsible for the lives lost in the incident. I wonder if these other articles are important at all. PM calls for etheric ban. Prime Minister Hart Leroy wasted no time in condemning the Lamplight City Expo disaster and called Parliament to impose a ban on etheric research. Despite predictable opposition from the Atwood wing, MPs may be more receptive to Leroy's proposal in the wake of the disaster. Vote is expected to be called in the coming weeks. Supporters of Clark's research insist that an isolated incident does not invalidate the potential benefits of etheric technology, but public opinion may be tipping in favor of the ban. And finally, Gilroy mine to close. Silas Gilroy announced on Friday that his aurum mine would cease operations at the end of the month. This marks the third major mine closure in the past year, in addition to many smaller claims that have been consolidated and sold cheaply or abandoned. Like every other prospector who hauled out here, I was hopeful after early results were so strong. But those deeper veins have failed to turn up, said Mr. Gilroy. It's all sparkle and no show. The mine's closure will deal yet another blow to Rosewater's fortunes, leaving over 40 men out of work. It's a newspaper worth 2 coppers.
Can I keep this?
Frame it if you like.
Okay, just one more thing before I go. Who's that guy who came out the window?
So, who was the man that went out your window? Not another writer, I hope.
Oh, God, no. You're the only applicant we've had. Don't worry.
Always good to
about him.
hear.
Just a rabble-rouser with an axe to grind. Thought he could burst in
Literal?
here railing about my journalistic integrity. Most folks stick to writing letters to the editor. I tried to calm him down, but... well, it didn't go that way.
I see.
I'm glad you clarified that. I wasn't sure if you went calmly out the window.
I'd best be on my way.
Right you are. Wait a minute.
What?
It's just come to me. I know why you look familiar. You're Spitfire Harley.
Goodness. It's been a long time since anyone called me that.
I saw you fighting back in 26 at Wellesley Hall in the Chum. You took out a brute twice your size with a right hook. Pow! It was like watching David bring down Goliath.
I appreciate the kind words, but that was another life.
Maybe so, but for a 14-year-old kid fresh off the boat, it was pretty damn inspirational.
Thanks, Joan. Appreciate it.
Of course. And please call me Joni.
That's weird to me only because she signed her letter, Joan, didn't she? Feels weird for her to be like, yeah, I signed, like, a different name that I want people to use.
I hope fixing that window won't be too expensive.
I may just leave it for a while. I'm enjoying the breeze.
That's quite a stick.
A memento from my grandfather back in County Donegal. Comes in handy now and again.
Is this the first edition of the Rosewater Post?
Yep, March 30th, 1845. One of the best days of my life.
What's that, 5.5 years ago?
The New Britannia Gazette. Keeping tabs on the competition?
Hardly. I kept that issue because they mentioned my paper.
Nice typewriter.
A first. Good old Sheldon Model 4.
Fascinating device.
Isn't it just? To think, I can send messages from here to Bright Bay with the press of a lever.
What will they think of next?
Well, good to know that that device exists. That may be important to the plot at some point. I feel like for now, that's all I have to check out in here. Just getting the lay of the land.
See you later, Joni.
Take care of yourself out there.
I have a feeling we may be using our brute strength to
Spitfire
punch
Harley,
people.
writing for my paper. Now don't that just beat all?
I don't know why. Like, in a lot of games, I feel like this selection of sound effects would make me look kind of crazy, but there's something about this setting that blends really perfectly, in my mind, with the, like, intense, cartoonish sound effects. I don't think I can lick this man, but I can talk to him.
Excuse me?
How can I be of assistance?
Who was that guy?
Exactly who was that gentleman just took a tumble out your second-story window?
I haven't a clue. Devil of a fella. Just busted in here and went straight for Joni's office. He wouldn't be put off, but insisted on speaking with the editor immediately. Said he intended to lodge a complaint. Suppose Joni didn't take too kindly to his manner of lodging.
Been working here long, Mr. Dixon?
Oh, about 5 years. I was the first one Joni hired on shortly after launching the paper. Was a farmhand before that. Keeping books is much nicer than tending cow pens, let me tell you.
Yep, this one for
Those
sure.
are some mighty fine whiskers you've got.
Oh, why, thank you, Miss Leger. The missus tells me I ought to shave, but I'm fond of the look.
As you should be. What's to know about this town?
You picked a fine time to arrive, Miss Leger.
Why's that?
A few years back, you could hardly drive a wagon through the street. It was so full of folk coming and going. I'm sure you've noticed that's no longer the case.
What happened to those people? Did they disappear in a mysterious etheric incident?
So where did everyone go?
Wherever the aurum actually is would be my guess. There's still some prospectors hanging on. Convinced they'll find something everyone else missed. I'm sure they'll all come to their senses eventually.
If they all go, where will that leave you?
Why, getting by, I imagine. Peaceful, quiet life. The railroad still brings some traffic. Folks on their way further west or shipping goods back east. Although not as many as before the transcontinental airship line opened up. Easier to sail clear over the country than ride the rails halfway. Suits me fine, though.
Anything I should know about the townsfolk?
Can't really help you there. I'm just a simple family man, and we keep to ourselves.
I'll leave you to your work.
Appreciate it, man.
He seems like a nice enough guy. Huh. The outdoorsman left. That's interesting.
Was your meeting satisfactory, ma'am?
Quite so. Did you find any of those butterscotch sweets I asked for?
Afraid not. Only taffy and some peppermints.
Pity. This place seems to lack even the smallest of pleasures. Shall we?
Ooh, the animation of her hiking her skirt to get up in the wagon. Very good. It's an interesting exchange for us to witness that didn't feel important, but at the same time, I don't know why we would have seen that if we didn't need to know something about it. Oh, I can't pet the cat. Deleting the game forever. Okay. Let's see. Jack of Diamonds. Let's go here. You could just make butterscotch. Yeah, but she can't, like, Google how to do it. It's loud in here, but I think it's supposed to be.
Warning. Watch the dang door. Signed, management.
Fair enough. Is
Food
that dumb
delivery
waiter?
for the lazy.
Very good. Wanted
These
posters?
seem to be for decoration more than anything else.
Gotta collect them all. Oh my god. I don't think I'm the type of person who just presses the button without having a reason to. But what if I was? Let's talk to this guy.
Excuse me, kid. I need to get upstairs.
I'm really sorry, miss, but Mr. Ackerman's not taking any more meetings right now.
I need to speak.
It's important I speak with Gentleman Jake.
I'm sure. Of course, he always tries to make time for his admirers.
Uh-oh, cruising
Mr.
for
Ackerman's
bruising.
upstairs getting ready for his show. It starts in less than an hour. Why don't you come by and watch? You can come meet him afterwards.
I just need to interview him for a newspaper article.
Well, now, that's perfect. If you're going to write about him, you should definitely see the show. Trust
He's not
me,
wrong.
He's a real dazzler.
Suppose it beats waiting around here.
Alright, I dig it. There's multiple things I really like going on here. I like that you're free to roam the town to get a sense of what's going on, but you're not obliged to like meet every single character right away if you don't want to. But like there's also something interesting about just sort of like a very like reasonable barrier here where it's like, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily expect to be able to be granted immediate audience with this relatively famous guy. So like it kind of makes sense for me to get brushed off, but then again, it gives me like a good excuse to just sort of like familiarize myself with the town. I don't know if I'm looking for like a specific event to trigger somewhere to let me know that like it's time for the show to start or whatever, but like I don't know, it feels like a nicer way to like force me to interact with the town and get to know the place I'll probably be spending a lot of time than to just like make me do it. I feel like the watch the dang door sign should be closer to the door. I feel like maybe it should be written on the door. But certainly where it's placed is unlikely to serve the function it's expected to serve. I'm gonna walk down this three-dimensional street. Rosewater P-Hus. You sure that's what you're going with?
Never heard of this one. For 20 coppers, it had better be one hell of a show.
That's like 10 newspapers. What's the book do? I'm sorry, do I have a notebook that tells me how to pick locks? Why do I possess this? And this is the monologue from the train cutscene. And I believe I have 20 coppers, is what that weird note on my bookmark says. So beyond that introduction, God, these pages are loud, huh? These are outrageously loud pieces of paper. So this is actually a really interesting item. It seems to contain instructions for picking locks. Then it's my diary. That's okay.
You again?
Oh, hey, Harmony, was it?
Sure, whatever.
Harley. What in the ether are you doing here?
Oh, you're not still sore about earlier.
Nah. But your little friend might think twice about hoodwinking strangers again.
Look, nothing personal. My brother and me are just doing our best to get by.
Just walked away when your brother got caught? That's cold as ice,
Your
brother.
brother? And you just strolled away? I ought to knock you into a cocked hat.
Anyone ever tell you got a real mean streak, lady?
You picked the wrong mark, but I can let that go. Hell, with a little effort, you two could be halfway decent crifters. But if there's one thing turns my stomach, it's disloyalty. That's your flesh and blood. If you don't have your own brothers back, who else on this wretched earth is going to give a flip if you're alive or dead?
You made your point. Now can we drop it already? I'm trying to do an actual legitimate job here.
Don't really believe that.
Legitimate job? So you're not selling snake oil or stock tips or fire insurance?
Nah, nothing like that. I'm selling tickets to Gentleman Jake's legendary Wild West show. Only 20 coppers.
Wait here. I'll be back.
I look forward to it.
I'll be back. Probably to do some violence. Fire insurance is a legit thing. It definitely can be. But like all insurance, it also can be a scam. Like, my favorite instance, in the TV show Freakazoid, there was like a guy who was like trying to do racketeering, and he just like went into stores and was like, "Do you want oops insurance?" And they're like, "What's oops insurance?" And then he would like blow something up and then be like, "Oops." Life is a scam. Hey, welcome to the stream, Funny Godmother. That's my flesh and blood in chat. Life is a scam. I'm not going to deny that. Welcome to Rosewater. This is a new point-and-click adventure game that came out this week. We're in alternate history cowboy times, and it's pretty great. Got your first attempt to scam you on your car's new extended warranty. That's, I don't know, a rite of passage? I was surprised at how hard and fast the homeowner-related scams came after buying my first house last year. There's not kind of like a lot of places to go.
The town water supply.
Oh, that's interesting. That's how the double click works? Because I can't see Jake yet, and I don't really trust the, like, obvious criminal to sell me legitimate tickets to a show that I think I just see in the saloon? I don't know if that's right. Maybe. Should have paid more attention. Finally got Twitch working on the Pika Palace
Howdy,
TV.
stranger. Fresh off
I'm
the
glad to hear
train?
that.
Yes, sir.
Come on in then. Let's have a chat.
I just walked into the sheriff's office, by the
I'm
way. I
Sheriff
thought maybe
Gamble.
Harley
point me in the
Leger.
right direction.
Pleasure. Just passing through, or?
I'm here about a job.
Well, now, that's refreshing. Few come to Rosewater these days with the intent of staying long. How are you finding our town?
It wasn't difficult once I got off the train. Dad joke. Almost got crushed by a falling man. I don't know. I feel like the tough facade like begets like none of these things that are happening have fazed me.
Oh, it's great. Real pretty.
Well, glad you think so. Most folks take one look around and get right on the next train back. But I can see you have some real grit. I doubt the dust and the flies will put you off. Anyhow, welcome to Rosewater. You run into any trouble, you come and see me.
I like the way he said that. Was he just like standing at one side of the empty room when I came in doing nothing? I'm always afraid that like people will like find me just doing something like that. It's like, why are you standing over there in the corner? I don't know. My sister says, my heart goes out to the game designer who had to listen to that clock over and over. I mean, someone had to choose to put it in here, right? We could have not.
A lawman with a license? Guess Rosewater isn't so uncivilized after all. Does this license mean you went to sheriff's school?
No, it means I was officially elected to the position by the people of this town. The
Got a
paper's
license
really
for that?
just a formality.
Yeah, it says it's generally not a good sign when you Google the name of a company you received a letter from, and the first 3 results are 2 Reddits asking if they're a scam and a Better Business Bureau complaint about them. Yep. And you'll see that sort of
I
thing.
wouldn't have figured the sheriff for a naturalist.
Like naturalist John Muir?
Fancy yourself a lepidopterist?
What did you call me?
Hardly. Picked that display up from a passing rag and bone man. But I like when the sun
heck is
shines
that?
on their wings just so. Real thing of beauty.
I think I like this guy.
Reminder,
Big eye.
confiscated items to be placed in the box below.
Something from this box is going in my inventory at some point. You know it.
A plain leather bag. Wonder what's inside. What's in the bag?
Oh, that's a set of lockpicks I confiscated from a would-be burglar.
I'm gonna need those. Definitely gonna need those. Because for some reason I have a journal that tells me how to pick locks.
What a peculiar decoration. Hey, Sheriff?
Yes, ma'am?
Why have you got a horseshoe hanging above the door?
Ah,
Where do you put yours?
Glad you asked.
The animations in this game are
My
really
grandpappy
good.
told me a story about a blacksmith who was visited by the devil. The devil asked the smith to make him a horseshoe for his own hoofed feet, you see. So, the blacksmith took a red-hot horseshoe and nailed it straight onto one of his hooves. The devil howled out in pain. He begged the blacksmith to take it off again.
Why did he
The smith agreed, but
do any
on
of that?
one condition. The devil must always respect the horseshoe and never enter any place where one is hung above the door. Hell of a story, wouldn't you say?
That is a wild story. Really spared no effort on some of these animations that I would expect like an indie game to kind of just like throw away.
Those are some stern-looking ladies.
Gotta head out for an early morning. Well, thanks for stopping by, Kat, and congrats on the car. That's very exciting. And the license plate also, not to be taken for
Hey,
granted.
Sheriff?
Huh?
Who are the people in this photo?
Those are my sisters, Lord bless them.
That's a lot of... What is that, like 5 or 6 sisters?
Reba married an oil man. I think they're living in some big mansion on the coast somewhere. Sadie died a few months after this picture was taken. I'm grateful to have this to remind me of her smile.
Wow, this guy's an open book, huh?
Mary was always my favorite. The trouble we used to get into when we was kids.
That doesn't seem to account for all the women who are implied to be in that picture. Fireplace in Seattle, Topeka Palace. This is the first I've heard of that, but I do approve of it. I used to call my apartment in California the Vasco, like a pirate's cove, portmanteaued with Vasco. My new house has its own nickname, but it's sort of related to its location, so I have refrained from mentioning it on stream. What's this other photo about?
Not a bad view. Hey, Sheriff?
Yes, ma'am?
What's this photo of?
That's a view of Colchester, where I grew up.
That's where my sister died, months after that last photo was taken.
The winters were so cold, people's sentences would hang in the air for days. It ain't exactly a metropolis, but it's got character. All things considered, I still do miss the place.
Like you can't hit it with your gun?
Looks like a pretty rough sort.
I assume the wanted poster in the sheriff's office is probably a relevant one.
This fellow still at large?
Yep.
She seemed
But I
really happy to
reckon
ask
he's
that.
left the province.
Can I have your,
Doesn't look too comfy, but I guess that's the point.
that's just the prison at large, not the...
Does this cell see much use?
Nah, not really. Well, that's fine by me. The less I have to clean out that pot, the better.
Yep. So I wonder if we are at a point where the game wants us to try and meet everyone. The sheriff seemed like might be a good place to go to get sort of like oriented to something. But if I can't talk to the guy I'm trying to talk to, am I really supposed to spend like $20 getting a ticket to the show or whatever?
Oh, hello there.
Oh, now
I've seen you around before.
You can see the doctor
Just
because that
arrived
guy
in
who
town.
fell out the window
Name's
needs
Harley
medical
Leger.
attention.
And you're Dr. Sedgwick?
At your service. Welcome to Rosewater and to my clinic. If there's something ailing you, you'll have to take a seat. My hands are a bit full right now.
That's all right. I was just looking around.
Oh, that's a relief. I'll be occupied with my patient a while. Had a nasty fall from the Rosewater Post second floor window.
I saw
Rare
that.
moment around here.
I'm sure this doctor won't mind me rummaging through all his things and asking invasive personal questions. You know, like an adventure game protagonist.
I imagine you get your hands pretty dirty in this line of work?
It's for cleansing before, not after. I am a follower of the modern European theories, positing that disease follows from the propagation of tiny animalcules living on the surface of the skin. Thorough washing with
Animalcules.
soap and water is said to eradicate them.
Drown the little bastards, huh?
Something like that.
Man, this dude's pouring like a lot of stuff on this guy's arm.
Medical College of Wicks? Never heard of it.
It's in central Rotterdam. Not quite the
Rotterdam.
University of New Britannia, but then what is?
Well, that's just disgusting.
Not disgusting, it's fascinating, awe-inspiring.
To each his own. Hey, Doc, is that mess of noodles really what our insides look like?
Indeed, Miss Leger. The human body truly is a marvel.
An
I
electric
suppose that's one word
jellyfish
for it.
piloting a malevolent skeleton covered in meat.
That's impressively clean.
Cleanliness is next to godliness, as they say, and good health starts with good hygiene.
I don't know who this voice actor is. He sounds a little familiar to me, but I totally like enjoy his vibe. It is a good question if my sister has seen the spring 2025 Pikachu, but I assume the answer is yes, because my sister has added to her cadre of superpowers awareness and access to Pokemon knowledge.
Quite a variety of potions and tonics you've got here, Doc.
It's only a small part of the bounteous pharmacopoeia that nature might make available to us,
Pharmacopoeia.
if only we knew her secrets. There is so much to be discovered.
I'm shocked that they still have not released the... You've seen it on your show. I'm surprised that the spring Pokemon plush haven't come to the UK. That's outrageous. Oh yeah, I suppose I could just like outright talk to... Oh, I didn't try that on the other guy, did I? I was doing so
Hey,
much like
Doc.
dialogue exchange, I
Mr.
kind of thought I
Jair.
was talking to him, but I really wasn't. Is this guy gonna
What are
live?
this fellow's prospects?
Surprisingly good. He's only suffered some contusions and abrasions, nothing broken. There isn't any reason he shouldn't be up and about by tomorrow. It would have been a different story if he'd landed on his head. The Lord smiled upon him today.
Too bad the Lord didn't smile before he went out the window.
Yeah.
So, how's the medicine business?
What a question. I'm a physician, Miss Leger, not some two-bit snake oil salesman.
Didn't mean to imply you were.
I'm sure. At any rate, I've not had many patients of late. This poor soul is the only one this week. But that is the physician's dilemma, is it not? We are taught that idleness is a sin. But better that I am idle and the townsfolk healthy than my surgery be full of the ill and infirm.
You're very, very measured about not overusing your Pokemon employee benefit until this week. Now, does that mean that you bought more things than just Spring Pikachu? Today was box of plushies. Very good. Did you get like the whole spring collection or something?
Got any knowledge to impart about Rosewater?
Oh, well, it's a fine town.
You don't sound too enthused.
I'm sure you'll find plenty to see and do here.
Give it to me straight, Doc. I want to know your thoughts on this place. Warts and all.
Were Rosewater one of my patients, I would say the prognosis is not good. Not since all the aurum claims dried up and the airship routes opened, leapfrogging over our rail line. The hangers-on keep this place gasping for breath, but I fear they only prolong the inevitable. I hope I haven't discouraged you, but you did ask my opinion.
There's something about... I mean, I like most of the characters I've interacted with so far. I really like the doctor and the sheriff. You got 2 spring Pikas, special delivery Pika, and a very fuzzy partner Pika. I've seen a couple of the fuzzy Pikas recently. Is that the Cuddle Pika line? Or a different one? Is it like a sleeping Pika? And some laptop stickers because the sticker game at the office is on point, so you gotta be official. Official Pokemon Master, of course, of course. Wait, is that true? You didn't get a proper release for the spring plushies last year, Neko? Oh, that's concerning. It's the Cuddle one? Oh, okay. I've been trying not to spend money frivolously and have been doing, at best, a tepid job. Neko recently got the Cuddle Espeon and recommended the Cuddle Eevee to me, but I have not gotten it. So what keeps you here? If you think this place sucks, because it sounds kind of grim.
Things are so bad, why not pick up and move elsewhere?
I swore an oath to do no harm, Miss Leger. As the town's only physician, leaving would mean abandoning my patients. There may not be many left to call on my services, but when they do, I am the only barrier standing between them and the grave.
Isn't that a bit dramatic, Doc?
Say what you will. I know where I stand on the matter.
Nico says she's doing a terrible job at not being frivolous. Got yourself Cuddle Espeon. Couldn't save it for your birthday and already want a new Espeon. I mean, in fairness, it's not your fault that they released a special spring Espeon that you deserve. That's not your fault. But yeah, I just got myself the Flareon keychain, which I love, and I got the Pokédoll Squirtle, who is hiding somewhere in this room right now. And yeah, I'm further tempted to buy Pokemon things. I've been in a very Pokemon place recently. It's a really, here, you want the full size? I mean, this is an extremely thorough, detailed Flareon keychain. It's basically the size of just an entire small plush. And it has the biggest keychain ring I've ever seen. But it's so floofy. There's so many from this set. And there was some brief temptation to try and get them all, which is the tragedy of being an Eevee fan. But I was like, no, I want the floofy Flareon. I really needed it. And I have the Eevee. It's on the shelf back here with my Alolan Vulpix. It had a really good smile, so I couldn't not buy it. That Flareon finally showed up in the proverbial chat. Yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to in the place where I got an Eevee and 2 Evolution Poké Dolls. I've not been able to find the Flareon from that set. I think that's a especially cute one too. Is an important factor for a plushie. I will say, I was annoyed that this week, it seems like anything that's trading card related at all that ever appears on the Pokemon Center website is just sold out by the time it's listed. Because like they reissued like a few Evolutions in like little bundles that had like a few card packs and a plush and like something else depending on what the Evolution was. And I was like, oh, I probably would have spent irresponsible money on that Flareon, but it was sold out before I saw it listed. There's a reason for that. I am not surprised to learn that, but it does make me wonder why they're ever listed. Actual Destined Rivals was available for several hours this week. That's actually more surprising to me. Let's see. Can't you get someone to take your place? I mean, I suppose he could if there was another skilled doctor, but it sounds like there isn't because this place sucks.
Why not train somebody to take over for you?
Or
I
that.
did have an apprentice not long ago, my ward, Nadine.
What happened to her?
Oh, this is no kind of life for a restless young person. I encouraged her to put her talents to use elsewhere. She's ministering to the local native tribe now.
Oh. I hadn't considered that angle. I should have. Interesting. I imagine we will meet Nadine. Tell me about the tribe.
I'm afraid I don't know much about them, just that they have a small village somewhere in the valley. I believe they call themselves the aurum? I'm not certain of the pronunciation. At any rate, they don't come to the town, and I imagine the townsfolk mostly let them be as well.
This guy has poured so much of whatever that is on this unconscious man.
You must know all about the townsfolk.
I am well acquainted with all their ailments, proclivities, and vices. But if you're just seeking gossip, you'll have to find it elsewhere.
I'll see you later, Doc.
Do take care of yourself.
Oh, Funny Godmother, did you see the Nintendo Switch Direct trailer for Pokemon ZA? Or were you already privy to the information in it? I was very excited to learn that it's sort of like a city-wide tournament scenario. It's very much all those animes that I like that no one will ever take interest in because they're geared specifically to me and no one else. I should have an actual conversation with the sheriff.
Welcome back, Miss Leger.
Hey, Sheriff.
What can I do you for?
Yes and no comment. I'll take that to mean that you somehow convinced the Pokemon Company to gear that game specifically towards your younger brother, which I appreciate. No, you don't have to say anything. I understand. For those who aren't aware, I think some of the folks watching tonight aren't with us all the time. My sister in chat, Funny Godmother, recently got a job working for the Pokemon Company International, specifically heading the Pokemon TCG Live app, which you can and should download and enjoy. Just got an update for a new card set, and it's been going really good. I saw some really nice comments yesterday on Reddit about people appreciating specifically some of the things that you've worked on, and I tried to locate them, and I can't do it. I had found them shortly before I started streaming yesterday, and so the app reset when I tried to go look for the comments, and I can't find them, and I'm mad about it. So I'm sorry that I did not take screenshots of them when I could. But just know that people are appreciating your work. How long have you been sheriff?
Just how long have you been the sheriff here anyway?
Oh, a couple years now. Like most everyone else, I came to Rosewater in '48 when we thought the hills were full of aurum. Except I stayed when it turned out they weren't.
You were a prospector?
Yep. But it turns out lawman was a more stable career.
You were considered goated on Reddit and you saw that? Very good. Okay. Glad to hear that. Did you happen to hear about that guy who got thrown out the window? He's getting a bunch of liquid poured on his arm.
Were you aware that a man was thrown from the window at the Rosewater Post?
Is that right? Who was it?
Never saw him before. Looked New Spanish.
Is he alive?
Yes, he's in Doc Sedgwick's care.
Well, that's good.
So interesting.
Sounds like I need to have words with Joni, though.
Let me tell you what I find really interesting about that exchange we just had. If we hadn't, ignored that guy after he fell out of the window, I'm guessing that we could have had a conversation with him. Heck, we might even be able to have a conversation with him in the doctor's office. Frankly, I didn't try because he seemed unconscious. And if that was the case, we might be able to, know what his name was. But if we hadn't gone to see the doctor before having this conversation with the sheriff, I assumed that we would not know for sure if he was alive. And we certainly wouldn't be able to say he was in Dr. Sedgwick's care. Which means that we have a pretty sophisticated, system of flags in place to check, what actions you've taken as a player for what has, the appearance of a pretty straightforward adventure game. This is to be expected from the people who made Lamplight City, which I consider a very good adventure game.
A man in your position must have plenty to say about the town he serves.
Suppose that's true, but a stroll down Main will tell you most everything you need to know.
Books and Reddit also said, because of our overnumbered cards and the lack of leaderboards when Pocket has them, Reddit is fickle like the wind. That's certainly true. I was actually just saying yesterday that I feel like almost any time I've been invested enough in a game to check out what its communities are like online, they're just fueled by negativity. More so video games, but a high percentage of games in general. Let's wait to ask about townsfolk.
Anything of interest in the surrounding area?
Not really. The San Bernardo Valley don't offer much in the way of
San Bernardo Valley?
There's an army fort, Fort Beaumont, and an abandoned relic that used to be a laboratory. There's also an Indian village on the other side of the valley. But you'll want to steer clear. I've heard tell they can be real territorial. But all that's outside my jurisdiction. When you leave my town, you're taking your chances out there.
First singleton deck doesn't suck. Won your first game and only barely lost the second. I had a pretty similar experience. What was funny is the game that I barely lost was against someone who was playing an extremely similar deck to mine. Oh boy, I sure can't ask about townsfolk, huh? Well, I can even ask about the fancy older lady whose name I didn't get. Tell me, wait, which one is... Oh, Jem's the grifter. Yeah, I want to know about him. He's the one I want to ask about.
That little weasel Jem is a real piece of work. What's his deal?
Did he cause you any trouble?
Nah, just tried putting on airs with his town greeter routine. But he was on his way once I let him know I wasn't having any of it.
That boy. He ain't a bad kid, just been dealt a bad hand. I've tried setting him straight, but his head's harder than granite. Maybe it's time I set my foot down. Show him the inside of himself for a while.
Trust me, that'll only make things worse. Perhaps rather than tossing away the bad apple, you might look in the barrel and figure out what made it rot.
Say, you ain't one of those social reformer types, are you?
Let's just say I've seen my share of cruddy
Defund the
girls.
sheriff. Yeah, tell me about Gentleman Jake. I'm supposed to write an article about him.
What's the story with Gentleman Jake?
Which one? If even half of them are true, he's a lion among men, a real Western hero. But
where did they find this guy? He's so cowboy.
Straight from the source.
Fancy Espeon would cost 80 pounds from Japan. That's rough. I'm not above making bad decisions. I paid a premium to get my polka doll Eevees, which was not wise, but it happened nonetheless. Honestly, I have looked a couple times because my sister got me the big sleeping Eevee, and I have a big sleeping Flareon, a big sleeping Jolteon. I kind of wanted to get Vaporeon to just have the original Eeveelution set. But the Vaporeon has not been restocked at the Pokemon Center for months and months, and then this week I think they finally deleted the page for it. And so like the only way to get it is secondhand. Let me tell you, that's a markup. That's a markup. So I have not done that. That might be a bridge too far. Yeah, let's find out about the older lady because we don't know anything about her and we saw a cutscene. She likes
I
butterscotch.
saw a lady coming out of the saloon earlier. She was older, fancy looking, sounded old country. Any idea who that is?
Can't say it rings any bells. Wonder what someone like that'd be doing in Rosewater.
That's an interesting take. Tell me about my friend. Do you hate her?
Can you tell me about Joan Gallagher?
Whew, I've yet to meet anyone with a more fiery temper. My advice is to stay on Joni's good side. You don't want to end up going out the window like that poor bastard.
I think he doesn't care that happened.
Is Doc Sedgwick on the up and up, or is he one of those frontier quacks?
Oh no, Doc Sedgwick's tried and true. Well, he saved the town from a yellow fever epidemic just last year. The Doc's pretty much the glue holding this town together. Leastways, that's what he's fond of telling everybody.
Thanks for the chat, Sheriff.
Come back anytime.
You think the Espeon would be 23 pounds based on the price of the American Pokemon Center website? Yeah, it went out of stock in the US store like immediately. Like I think immediately after the stream when you had mentioned it, like I saw it available for a very short time and then it was out of stock. But that's about the markup on the Vaporeon, who starts more expensive. What's funny is that I've like looked at eBay listings for the Sleeping Vaporeon enough times that now I just like see, you know, Google placed ads all over the place being like big Sleeping Vaporeon. I'm like, nah, I'm trying to cut back. Thanks though. It's starting to seem like I'm gonna have to buy a ticket from that shady guy. I'm not sure how else to like properly advance. I mean, I guess I could just like press this button. Wow, no one even got mad. That's wild. Let me save the game because I haven't done that yet. Oh good, I get to name it. Can I look at each painting individually?
Scenes from the wild country. A night campfire, a wild horse, and a bear in the mountains. Sure would be something to see all that up close and personal. Except maybe the bear.
What if it's like a huggy bear? You run into one of the Pokemon Center people, you'll nudge them to do Sleeping Vaporeon again. It's certainly worth mentioning that you are aware of interest, is all I'll say. Weirder things have happened than you influencing that. I am fully aware of that. That gene we share.
Gentleman Jake's show will be starting at the theater soon. You won't want to miss a second of it.
Oh, his show is at the theater. I don't know why I interpreted that as being here. Alright, I guess I'm gonna spend all the money I have in this world to see the show. Good thing I just saved.
Hey, kid.
Yeah?
I'll take one of those tickets.
Swell! And when would you like to come see the show?
Whenever it starts?
Oh, you mean today? Oh, well, I'm afraid I gotta disappoint you there. Sold the last of today's tickets not 10 minutes before you walked up.
Seriously?
Seriously, this ain't exactly the Coliseum. It only fits so many, and folks
It does
around
look
here
like
are
it
real
houses,
excited
like,
to see
6
Gentleman Jake
people.
in person.
All right, look. I don't need to see some yahoo firing off his pea shooter. I just want to talk to this Jake fellow.
And I'm sure Gentleman Jake would be happy to meet you if you had a ticket to get in.
No
Of course,
ticket.
I might be able to sneak you in quiet-like.
I don't know how you'd manage
my job
that.
on the line, and I can't afford to lose it now. After all, I have my little brother to look after.
Just
My
tell
guy,
me
I
what
think
you
you've
want.
misread
Only
me.
a small favor.
Spit it out.
Just help me retrieve something. A small item of great personal value. It's only my pa's pocket watch. Family
A pocket
heirloom,
watch?
you see.
What happened to it?
It was stolen is what. By that one-eyed scalawag Lola Johnson. Probably stashed it away in the old smithy. She's been squatting in there for weeks now.
That's interesting. Oh my goodness. Okay. One minor complaint I'll lodge about this game is that if I need to interact with this one character I don't like so far in order to advance the plot, I could stand for that to be a little bit clearer just because I don't particularly want to engage with him. King says they dropped the link to the Sleeping Before on in the Discord at a nice price on eBay. I appreciate that. I probably shouldn't look at that, but I might do it anyway. Let's see. I mean, it does sound like a matter for the law.
If this Lola stole from you, why not report it to the sheriff?
Oh, come on. I thought you was sharp. That lazy tyrant would cuff my brother and me soon as look at us. It's just
that doesn't seem to be true because you're walking around
against the world. We got no one else to turn to.
Dude, you were just gonna
Hellcat with a chip on her shoulder a mile wide, who fancies herself some kind of smooth criminal mastermind when she ain't too busy licking pigs' boots. So, will you help us out?
What I've gathered is that this guy doesn't particularly enjoy having bones in his body because he keeps provoking me to remove or destroy the ones that he possesses. $20 or best offer? That's something. I should probably look at that. $20 is an outrageous price. Like, I think to get that, like, from the Pokemon Center Direct was like 45 or 50? It's like somewhere between 40 and 50, if I remember. It's been a while. It's interesting that I can offer a bribe of a fixed amount, which suggests like a certain amount of economy in this game, which can be tricky in an adventure game. I don't know. I feel like I'd rather do the like vigilante thing, frankly.
You can go hang for all I care, but I want in this theater, so I'll do it.
Swell. You know where to find me.
It really does make a rattlesnake noise every time you autosave. I don't know why that brings me such joy. Alright, he said someone's squatting at the smithy, which sounds rude. That sounds incredibly rude. Oh, it's locked, which means I have to get the lockpicks from the sheriff if I want to go after him. Which means I'd have to, like, steal from the sheriff or somehow convince him that I should...
Welcome back, Miss Leger.
Makes a scribble noise like you have some notebook. I do have a notebook. It's a notebook that tells me how to pick locks, but also if I loudly turn all the pages in the notebook, because for some reason this is not beholden to the laws of the audio settings I've put in place, it also keeps track of like the latest plot happenings. This book is extremely loud. I think it's like a cursed object. It's pretty cool.
Hey, Sheriff?
Mostly everything in this game's been pretty cool. It is not disappointed.
Are you acquainted with Lola Johnson?
Not really. She mostly keeps to herself. As long as she don't cause trouble, I'm willing to overlook the squatting.
Okay, so he's aware of the squatting.
Thanks for the chat, Sheriff.
Come back anytime.
How would I go about getting... Oh. I mean, listen. I mean, it's literally right in front of his face. I can't imagine he would take kindly to me just like... So this is the problem, right? In an adventure game, you're typically like a kleptomaniac. Like, you're literally just like stealing every object that's not nailed down so that you can like, apply it to some arcane solution later in your life that you haven't considered at this point. But you just need as many objects as possible. But like, if there's like a sheriff, and honestly, I would not be surprised if this game had accountability in it. Like, it's gonna make my job kind of hard. I could see the inside of the cell. I mean, I imagine there's probably other reasons why the cell exists, but it hasn't escaped my notice that that's the thing that can happen to me. It's unusual for the UK Pokemon Center to be excluded from this drop, and there is no word if or when the plushies will arrive there. Is the UK the only, like, major Pokemon Center market excluded? That sucks. What gives? That's so messed up. Ugh. Wow, that's strong language from Neko, and well deserved. Okay, listen. Is everyone here on board to try some science? I would like to try some science. I've just saved the game. I kind of want to see how bad the consequences are of me just taking something directly in front of the sheriff. I don't feel like that's the right thing to do, but I kind of just want to see how bad the consequences are. My intention is to proceed from here. And I'm not outright trying to save scum, but I am curious if the game has mechanics to punish me for doing an obvious crime.
I can't just swipe these from right under his nose.
Okay. I honestly thought it would let me try. I don't know why, I was really convinced it would just let me try. What if I took one of his rifles? Do it. What's the worst that could happen? No Espeon? It doesn't get much worse than no Espeon, I'll grant you that. Can pick up the horseshoe? I doubt it, but you raised a good point that I should... I mean, I already looked at and asked about it. He told us that wild story about the devil asking for a horseshoe and then getting mad when it hurt, and then the blacksmith only taking it off when he promised to, like, ignore places with lucky horseshoes on them.
What a peculiar decoration.
But it doesn't look like I have an option to take it. And my inventory doesn't actually contain any useful items yet, which is a little shocking. Neko, I'm curious, and perhaps this is the wrong time to ask. I know, obviously, Espeon is precious and important. Where do you rank Espeon specifically in terms of your favorite Pokemon? Is Espeon top favorite? Search the boxes again. We've been through some things.
Nothing inside but a colony of ants. Shame. I could go for a sarsaparilla.
Let me try talking to the unconscious guy. Maybe he knows something helpful. Espeon might be top favorite.
Hello again.
It's harsh.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, I wouldn't try talking to him just now, Miss Leger. I gave him a mild narcotic to numb the pain. He'll be out of sorts for a while.
Dude, I know that guy's voice. That guy's famous. I don't know what from, but, like, I definitely know this voice. It will bother me increasingly until I either remember to look it up or forget that this happened.
He doesn't look half bad, all things considered.
No, he was lucky. Once I'm done here and the laudanum wears off, he should be right as rain.
Ooh, wait, what's this? Wait a minute, is this a similar bag?
What's in the pouch?
Oh, just some supplies for house calls and emergencies.
I gotta steal this man's bag and do an Indiana Jones... I don't know why I said it like that. Indiana Jones swap over at the sheriff's. That was easier than I expected. Okay, hold on. I like that I walked slowly out of the room as if that would make a difference to the video game detecting that I just did a crime. Hey Demolition, welcome to the stream. I hope that Operation Don't Flood is going relatively well, considering. Ooh.
Welcome
Time is-
back, Miss Leger.
Time is passing. Why did the clock do that? Can I? Okay. I'm so concerned about consequences in a way that I'm not used to caring about consequences in an adventure game. Can I? Is this possible?
I can't swap the bags with the sheriff sitting right there.
It would help if you didn't say out loud next to the sheriff what your plan was. Oh no, operation failed. Overall, we're stable. Well, you'll get them next time, or whatever. I don't actually remember what that's from. That's definitely a video game, and I can't place it. But I'm sorry that is the case. Alright, now how do I distract the sheriff? What can I do to distract the sheriff? Maybe I can go talk to the criminal guy and tell him that I need him to distract the sheriff so I can do the job that he wants done, so that I can get illegally into the show to write a puff piece about some famous celebrity figure from the Wild West. That was my way of trying to summarize for those who've just joined us, largely what's going on.
Hey, kid.
Yeah?
Okay. He will not help me. Is there anyone in town who would help me? I don't feel like I know anyone in town
Wait
who would
here.
help me with this. I so badly want to, like, not pay this guy any money. It's probably going to cause me more trouble than it's worth. Maybe the kid. I don't know where he went, though. Didn't I ask him where the kid went? Did I just, like, blank on the answer? Hey, you don't want to help me do a crime, do you?
Gentleman Jake's show will be stopped. Gentlemen.
You know, with the number of people who, like, pass quietly in the foreground, it actually seems like a relatively populated town, despite them sort of arguing that it's had, like, a big downturn. I suppose I haven't tried pulling on the lock to make sure it's locked.
Looks sturdy, but there's some rot creeping around the handles. This padlock's not going
Did
anywhere.
someone say
Not without encouragement.
birthday?
Too bad I didn't bring my lockpicks. Or a hammer.
Did someone say birthday? Well, we got the long one. Of course, the long one also doesn't have the ole at the end. I don't have very many items, and I don't have very many allies. I'm at a loss for how I'm supposed to do this in the clever way. Can't go, like, any further in this direction, right? Am I missing a screen somewhere? It's kind of felt like I am, but I don't know where that would be. Okay, so hold on. Going in the train station does nothing. Even though people walk this direction, I don't seem to be able to go here. If I hover my cursor over, like, the frontier, I can't sort of go out that way. There's into the sheriff's office where I've been, and then, like, further into town. I do have a, like, highlight objects button. This doesn't really
Can't
tell
be
me
a good
anything I
sign
don't
when
know.
even the blacksmith goes out of business. No shoes for you, horsies.
What an interesting observation to have. No shoes for you, horsey. You got a chocolate cake and a cheesecake? Ooh. That's a good birthday assortment.
Hello again.
Pretty sure I've interacted with all of these things. Other than his hand? Is that something? What's the hitbox here? What's the hitbox it's suggesting exists here? That's weird. Something has occurred to me, though.
Pretty common-looking leather pouch. The stuff inside isn't of much use to me.
I can't open it. It's not the case that anything in the bag could be repurposed as like a second solution to another thing. Maybe you could poison the sheriff to steal the lockpicks. I mean, I just need some way to get the sheriff to stop looking at the lockpicks so that I can switch in this bag like Indiana Jones. Let me ask my editor if she knows anything about doing a crime.
Good to see you again.
Excuse me?
I'd love to chat, Miss Leger, but I'm a bit occupied at the moment.
Don't let me distract you, then.
This guy's way ahead of his time with his standing desk, by which I mean it sucks to be him.
What do you need?
I'd best...
Right.
Okay, so she's not gonna help me do crimes. Is there anything in here that I missed that feels relevant? No, I think I hit all those as well.
See you later, Joni.
Take care of yourself out there.
If I had that button, can I check each room? That's kind of what we're doing now. It feels a little cheaty to just like not make any effort to do it yourself, but like that's the puzzle solver in me. We've also reached a point where I really don't know what to do, so we're doing it now.
Pretty active around here. I hope that means steady work.
No, I think I checked this. Don't think I checked this.
Impressive piece of machinery.
I'm sure it's meant to be a printing press.
That cabinet's better organized than I'll ever be.
For better or for worse, this strikes me as like an early prototype for some gynecological nightmare. Did I actually look at the Undertaker?
Business seems slow today. Probably a good thing.
Dude, maybe one of these posters is more relevant than I would expect.
Horse pills? Is that pills for horses or pills made from horses? Or both?
Oh, cannibal horse pills.
Wonder if the whiskey here is any better than the rot gut back in Pierre. Looks like it's been up for ages. Wonder if they ever caught the guy. Or maybe he retired from crime. Or died of old age.
Maybe he retired from old age.
Wonder if the whiskey here is any
died
better
of
than
crime.
The rot gut back in Pierre.
He had ivermectin back in the day? Yeah, but it was like early days ivermectin, so it was like extra not good for you. Oh, good. You dropped the cake photo on the Discord. I'll have to check that out and hope that by the time I check the eBay listing for that Vaporeon, it's not there or I'll buy it. I've looked at most of these things.
The local populace getting sloshed. Someone's hunting trophy.
This note is odd. I wonder if I can like take it with me at some point or
Watch
something.
the dang door. Signed, management.
It doesn't give me an opportunity to mess with the dumbwaiter. And I think that's like all the stuff. Like, honestly, the only way I can see to proceed is to try and offer a bribe to that guy, which I don't want to do. Can anyone else think of something I can do that isn't that? I honestly feel like I've tried every other thing. Because it was like the last thing I wanted to do, and I can't think of any way to not do it. Can we lick things in this game? Not that we've discovered so far, Demolition, unfortunately. Just as like a real Hail Mary.
Not sure what blowing on that will achieve.
That's true. We haven't tried blowing on it, but I'm not sure which we would blow on or what it would achieve.
Back.
No, I guess even this stupid idea doesn't work, because like selecting it and clicking on the other, I mean, like, if I just give it to him.
I see you got one of those leather pouches too. Great, aren't they?
Yes, let's compare them side by side, and then you look away, and then I'll take my pouch for sure, definitely mine, and leave. Can I open the jail? Not to my knowledge. I believe the only activities I can do are look at or ask about, and I think I've done both of those.
Doesn't look too comfy, but I guess that's the point.
Now, it did occur to me a moment ago that, like, I think he had specifically complained about not wanting to clean the chamber pot or whatever. So if I could knock it over, it just, like, doesn't have its own hitbox is the thing. But if I could, like, get in there and knock it over, that might, like, distract him long enough that I could, like, switch the pouches. Ask him about the news article. We could try it. We haven't done that. Oh, can I? Oh, yeah, select. We'll select it. Rub it on him.
Damn shame about what happened at the expo. I never bought into that ethericity hokum. Glad it's been banned.
I mean, I don't think it'll do much help, but I can show him my letter.
What's this? A letter from Joni?
That's right. The whole reason I'm here.
Well, Joni has an instinct for these things.
Wanted poster. What was this one? What was this thing?
Reminder, confiscated items to be placed in the box below.
So there's that, there's talking to him, there's the butterflies, the horseshoe. I haven't asked him about the guns, but I can't imagine that's going to help me at all.
Impressive collection.
Oh, no, I was trying to click the guns. The hitbox is very close to the door.
Welcome.
Hey, Sheriff?
Yes, ma'am?
What's the story with these guns?
That feels like a stupid question.
Now these are standard issue repeaters. Pretty powerful rifles. Thankfully, I've yet to use one in the line of duty. Wouldn't want
I'm
to
treating
be
this
on the
like it's some
receiving
old
end of
adventure
one of
game.
these.
All I have to do is like ask him about his family picture and then switch it because he'll just wander all the way over here like a rube. I'm the idiot.
Hey, Sheriff?
Huh?
Could you tell me about the ladies?
Could
in
you
the
tell me
photo
about this
again?
thing that's as
Those
far
are
from your desk as
sisters.
humanly possible? It's just like
Mary
normally
was
like
always
clicking
my
when there's
favorite.
dialogue.
The trouble we used to get into when we was kids.
Got him.
I just lean forward and lean forward. I've finished engaging with whatever you asked me to do. Sick. Now I'm gonna figure out how to break into the blacksmith. We were like 2 hours into the game and we basically hadn't solved the puzzle yet, and I made that look really hard. Alright, let me open my extremely loud cursed journal for a second. For those who are just joining us, it sounds like this. Delightful. It's just very loud. Okay. So this is probably lock number 2. Wiggle the key to start the fun, then take the snake for a long run. Okay, now, is that actionable, or are you having a laugh?
Not the best quality lockpicks, but they'll do in a pinch. This should be easy to pick. Just have to remember that rhyme I taught Bill. Good thing I wrote it down in my journal.
Wiggle the key to start the fun, then take the snake for the long run. Okay, so the snake is got to be the wiggly one. But wiggle the key?
The tension key.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
pick locks without it.
So I start by... There's literally a wiggle command. Oh. Then take the snake for long run. Left, right. Got it. Okay. Okay, I let the wiggle time out. That's my bad. That's on me. Wasn't sure if that was an issue, but we've learned that it is.
Hot damn!
That's good. I like that. That's a good little... This is a good little micro puzzle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. Remind you to try using wiggle in future adventure games. Please do, Neko. It feels important to keep track of the good adventure game verbs. Look at all these horseshoes. The devil's never coming in this place. And now I've learned how to pick specifically a padlock. You're totally right, Keen.
Just worthless trinkets.
But were they paid for in blood?
Doesn't look too comfortable.
It doesn't. I'll grant you that. There's not a lot going on here.
Guess the devil won't be coming in here.
Hey, I like this protagonist. She's a good adventure game protagonist.
Maybe the kid's watch is in there. Absolutely nothing. Emptier than that fool Jem's head.
Oh, that's a great point, Nago. I noticed that she said hot damn again. Because, like, that was what I picked earlier as my response to being, like, employed. But I hadn't considered that that might be, like, choosing a catchphrase. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. Man, we're not that far in this game, and I'm already super into it. I don't know what your opinion of it is collectively, chat. The hive mind known as chat.
No watch, just old Ash.
Search the pillowcase? I assume when I finally find it, I'm gonna get caught.
What have we here?
What have we here? What have we here? What have we here?
Best not to stick around.
What did I get if it wasn't what I came for? I didn't get the rattlesnake, but it did scribble. I would like to, wait, no, that is what I came for, isn't it?
Too bad there doesn't seem to be a pawn shop in town.
Weren't we getting a pocket watch? Did she not just say not what she came for? It feels like I should padlock the door. I don't seem to have that option. Even though we've already done the Indiana Jones crime, I'm just going to use that save again. Actually, wait a minute. Before I...
Fancy.
I can't, like, check an inscription on it or care at all? Alright, I'll just give it to the guy then.
Here's your watch back.
No fooling. You
Save
actually
name
got
game
it?
is on point. Thank you, Keen. I appreciate
They
that.
didn't used to call me Housebreaker Harley for nothing.
Hey, I'm impressed.
Anyways, that's my part of the bargain held up. You gonna let me in now?
Sure, go on. Oh, and thanks. I know we've had our tiffs, but I really do appreciate you getting this for me. My dear departed pa can rest easy again knowing his
Yeah,
watch
I don't
is
trust
back where
that.
it
I think we
belongs.
definitely just did a crime.
That's not your watch at all, is it?
Well, it is now.
Kid, if I were you, I'd make myself scarce. Otherwise, the only way you'll be able to tell the time on that thing is by squatting over a mirror. You get me?
Yes, ma'am.
Because his eyes will be in his butthole?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, are you
Get ready for the show!
thrills?
Get ready for some thrills!
Are you ready for some excitement?
Get ready for some excitement!
Are you ready for some fun?
Don't get ready for fun. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Without further ado, now present the star of our show, the last man standing at the Bleachbone Gulch Showdown. The only man to defeat bastard Billy Boakes in a duel. The man who discovered a
Like a
gentleman,
Duel Monsters duel?
then gifted it to an orphanage. Gentleman Jake Ackerman!
I really hope it's Hugh Bliss. Yahoo! Oh, good gracious. You can see the man pushing it. I bet that cowboy hat comes right off. It's stupid.
Thank you, Charlie, for that wonderful introduction. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, I also have some logistical questions about the mirror comment, but I kind of don't want to think about it.
For you today. But first, allow me to introduce my brave and loyal assistant, Danny Lowe. Now let's get this show on the road.
But I like that she delivered that line as if we should immediately understand the ramifications of it. It's like, I promise I don't.
Is how you rope a steer. Keep it going, Danny. Maybe you'll lasso yourself one someday.
My goal is to just wait until like the applause has died down and then be really loud.
Upon them as the duelists stood and stared, but Billy Boakes had never fought somebody so prepared. Jake drew his gun, and bang! The bastard crashed down.
I was hoping for like a bang flag.
The legendary foe lay dead, defeated, in the mud.
I don't know why I get to do this, but this is a delightful option that I approve of.
Yahoo! Get him!
I find my own fun in video games.
And now for a most challenging proposition.
Gotta shoot the green one and don't kill him.
Marksmanship to which a man can set his sights. You see those 5 juggling balls that Charlie keeps whirling aloft in such a dizzying display? Ladies and gentlemen, affix your eyes on that green ball in particular.
I really hope he just shoots this guy dead.
Blink.
It'd be really morbidly hilarious.
For with but a single bullet, I will pluck it from the very air.
You know what's coming. You know what's coming. You know what's coming.
Amazing!
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our
The prominent
show.
Hui reminds you of the
so much.
fangirl videos Hyper Team posted this Slack from the Sailor Moon musical. I saw a clip from that and I really enjoyed it. I didn't know it was a thing, but it was really good.
Come on down to the Check of Diamonds to get an autograph.
Ooh, a souvenir Ferrotype.
Ferrotype. We'll be there until last call. Stop by and shake hands with Gentleman Jake.
I appreciate that observation. Neko says the juggling animation is accurate, which she appreciates as someone who does juggling. Which I appreciate because, like, I've noticed a few, like, really choice animations, like that woman getting in the carriage or the sheriff getting up from his chair. Like, they really, like, even that, her, like, sneaking, like, sidling out of the door. Like, they really put a lot of attention to detail in these animations.
I'm telling you, Jake, I need that money tonight.
You knew the deal going in, Charlie. There's nothing I can do about it.
We'll see about that.
Hope I'm not interrupting, gentlemen.
My friend here was just saying his farewells. Weren't you, Charlie?
I kind of hate the accuracy of
Please
just, like,
do
the loose
pardon that
flies around
unpleasant
town.
display. What can I do for you, my dear?
Name's Harley Leger. I'd like to interview you for the Rosewater Post.
Well, shucks, it would be my pleasure, Miss Leger. Shall we go upstairs to my room? Beats standing out here in the dust.
Lead on.
Wasn't sure she'd be the type to, like, object to
My
that.
associate, Danny Luo.
We've met, actually. Not formally, I suppose.
Again, I bet it's possible to, like, not
properly
trigger
make your
that line.
acquaintance, Miss Leger.
Likewise,
I think this game's paying a lot of attention.
Please, you can call me Danny. Everybody does.
So what did you think of the
Oh,
show?
does he have a crush on us? He seems like a little flustered. Keen also says the lockpicking animation was pretty accurate based on my experience. Yeah, you mentioned. Sorry, I glossed over. Oh, I can't scroll up in chat. I'll break everything. But you mentioned something about like a lockpicking convention, which is really interesting, or something to that effect. But like, yeah, I mean, just like the animations have been really good. Like the subtle like logic working behind the scenes to like track like the order in which you do stuff. Like, this game is not disappointing. I had like pretty high hopes coming into this, and so far I'm like, oh yeah, this is the type of game I was expecting. And Echo also said to keep everyone in the VOD posted on this. I had a post from Pokemon on Instagram that said vaguely the botanical plushies would be coming to the UK, but not when. Yeah, that is a roller coaster of emotions, no doubt. I wish you the best of luck. I mean, hopefully, have you? I don't know if you're on Instagram. You should respond to them and make it clear to them that it is necessary for you to have one, and then maybe they'll make sure to arrange that. So I'm supposed to do a puff piece on this guy. I'm a little torn on how to respond to this. Like, I enjoyed just like being much too vocal at the performance. I feel like I kind of want to like understate it. I don't want to be like that was amazing, but I definitely don't want to be like that was garbage. Like, even though that was very silly and self-aggrandizing, and the fact that they expected people to pay like 20 Vespuccian dollars for that is a little offensive. I like the expression on his face really sells to me that he's actually waiting in real time for my response, which makes it better for me to really struggle and then not give a strongly committed answer.
Yes, that's definitely the word for it.
That's harsher than I thought it would be.
Shall we proceed with the interview?
Right.
Let me ask the real story late? I don't know if last will be possible. Let's start with the basics.
How did you come to pick Rosewater as your latest venue?
Simple. Plenty of folk in this town are looking for a good show. I ain't so hoity-toity as to think El Presidio or Las Virgenes are the only places worth visiting.
Virgenes?
After spending all day bent double over a pan in a creek or working his keister
Were you trying to
off
check
down
the
in a
time
mine, a
when you were
man
bent
is
over?
entitled to some amusement, wouldn't you say?
Tell me your greatest accomplishment.
You're clearly a man of great deeds. Which would you say has been your greatest?
I value all my accomplishments equally, Miss Leger.
This guy would be a great
Singling
Lumen
one out
employee.
would diminish the others. I couldn't bring myself to do that.
What a noble sentiment.
I like to think so.
I bet you do. What would people be surprised to learn
What's
about you?
something nobody knows about you? Give me something juicy.
I'm something of an open book, Miss Leger. Keeping secrets ain't really my modus operandi.
Come on, everyone's got secrets.
Oh, I think you'll find I'm not like most folk.
Yeah, let's ask if anything scares him, then ask his real story, and then, like, do the rest.
Is there anything that frightens the mighty gentleman Jake?
You know, somebody once told me, fear is only as deep as the mind allows.
I heard it was a
when
mind
you deal
killer.
with the type of folks out on the frontier that I do, marauders, bandits, desperados, your fears have got to be shallow. Otherwise, you won't last 2 seconds.
Hey, Jake, don't you have an appointment with Miss Sally this evening?
Damn, you're right. Sorry to cut things short, Miss Leger.
Oh, interesting.
I've got another engagement I need to prepare for.
I should have plenty for my article. I appreciate your time.
Well, I look forward to reading your story in the next edition. Danny, see the lady out.
I definitely thought there was some chance it would cut me off, but that seemed abrupt. I wasn't expecting that.
Good meeting you, Danny. Guess I'll see you around. Not to worry, gents. Jake's all yours. Hey, you were in the show. Nice juggling.
Thank you, ma'am. Jake, get your ass out here right now, you four-flusher.
I assume that's meant to
Now,
mean
what's all the
card
ruckus?
cheat, right?
Don't play the fool with me, Ackerman. You know damn well why I'm here. You might think you can give me the runaround, but I wonder if my friends here won't convince you to pay up.
Charlie. Didn't anybody ever tell you only cowards get others to solve their problems for them?
You slum-guzzling bastard. I'm gonna fix that wobbling jaw of yours.
Come on
Ooh,
up
do we
here,
get to use the wobbling verb?
You sure you won't reconsider, Charlie?
Shut the hell up and get out of my way. McGuire, take care of the kid.
Nani?
Let's dance, cowboy.
I suggest you clear out while you can, little lady. This could get ugly.
They're just doing a nice little choreographed dance.
I'm ugly already. Hey!
So that's how you
Hey.
want it, huh?
Hey, is the
Fine.
response
I'll
to
let the
this?
boss deal with you when he's done.
Let's talk to
You're in
him.
my way, you lummox.
And that's where I'm staying.
Can I take a chair or something? What I got on me? Nothing useful.
Knock his block off. We can do this all day. Ooh-wee. Hey, don't start any trouble, lady.
Okay.
I've seen pregnant cows more graceful than you. I've seen pregnant cows more graceful than you.
Quite like a dairy farmer.
Hey, don't start any trouble, lady.
Oh! Watch the dang door! Got him! Idiot!
Daisy.
Oh, this game rules. Why aren't they using guns so that I can, like, do a bunch of adventure game shenanigans?
Hey, nice one.
Not the most honorable way of winning a fight, but these boys were hardly playing fair.
Hey, Charlie. Looks like your guys weren't as tough as you hoped.
Bonk! Idiot. Oh, that was very satisfying.
Old blood pumping.
You've got some interesting associates, Mr. Ackerman. If you'll excuse me, I have an article to write.
Hang on just a minute. I'd be a fool to just let you walk away after that performance. Come on back up here. I've got a business proposition that may interest you.
What about Miss Sally?
Oh, she can wait. All right, Miss Leger, I won't beat around
Stop the
bush.
bar brawl by
Danny
smashing
and
a
I are
bottle
looking
over the
to get some
thug's head.
folks together
Oh,
for a
okay.
job.
There's different ways to
And
do
I
that.
think
That's fun.
You'd make a damn fine addition to the team.
What sort of job?
Ever hear of Dr. Bennett Clark?
Of course.
Sure, who hasn't?
The etheric researcher. What about him?
See the guy from the
Dr.
article?
Clark moved out here not long after the big disaster back in Lamplight City. He kept up his research, even did some demonstrations at the Opera House. Till one day, he just up and vanished. Nobody
He stepped
seen
into the
hide
quantum
nor
leap
heard of
accelerator.
him in nearly a year.
Maybe so she got distracted. How do we go from the interview to the brawl? As we were on our way up from the interview, the disgruntled employees who like helped with the show like wanted their money now, or they were going to take it in a fight. And then like one of them just didn't want us to leave, I guess, because they thought we were a witness, or just because they were like a goon. So I like, you know, did some adventure game shenanigans and I lost. I'll play this out. The beat around the bush seems like a fun line for our character, but like, let's get the information we
So
need.
is he dead or what?
That's the thing. Nobody knows. But the real question is what he left behind. We're going in search of Dr. Clark's fortune.
Come again?
The feller was loaded. Somehow he managed to talk a bunch of big money investors from back east into financing his research. All those gizmos and doodads don't come cheap, you know? We find his stash, we'll all be rolling in it for years to come.
Stash? What stash? Surely it's all just numbers on a ledger somewhere.
Nope, I'm telling you, he kept his assets in cold,
But like, how do you know
hard
that?
cash.
What's your source?
So you're looking to rob a man blind just because nobody knows where he is?
It's like
Now,
grave robbing
nothing
if he's
so
dead.
uncouth as that. Picture this: a swashbuckling pirate captain, his
On
vessel
board.
freighted with treasure. The vast fleets of law and order circling him, closing in. He digs a hole in the sands of some sun-kissed tropical beach to conceal his ill-gotten loot and makes himself.
So you're saying is this scientist is a pirate?
Circumstance
Okay.
conspires to deprive him of the opportunity to return. Now, he's the brave treasure hunter who seeks and unearths the bounty guilty of robbery? Or is he just returning to the world what would otherwise lie forgotten and worthless? See, we're not after Clark's personal wealth. The money in question was meant to bankroll his etheric research. Since that's been outlawed, he can't touch it. And it's a drop in the ocean for the investors. They'll never miss it.
How many folks are you planning on bringing into this?
That depends on what we find. But I promise you, we'll all get a fair split. Enough to make it all worthwhile.
What's your plan?
Clark had a lab nearby, a couple miles outside of town.
Oh yeah,
Last
someone
place
mentioned
anybody
that.
saw him. We poke around there, retrace his steps, and it should lead us straight to the loot.
Uh-huh.
Now, call me crazy, but I get the impression you're not entirely convinced.
You have three different options that are functionally different, but they're all negative. This is a wild goose chase that gets us all killed. I'm not convinced, and frankly, I don't trust you. Or, oh no, I'm completely convinced. Chat feels strongly that we should say that we're convinced.
Why on earth would you think that? Couple of folks I don't know from Adam asked me to help them hunt for some money that probably doesn't even exist. How could I not be convinced?
I admit we're asking you to put a lot of faith in us. Hell, I'd probably be just as incredulous were I in your position.
Mr. Ackerman's a good man, Miss Leger. He's never led me astray in all the time I've known him.
I appreciate it, Danny, but I think Miss Leger's gonna need a little more than just your word. Look,
You got some gold
I've
or
known
something?
quite a few moneyed folk in my time. They all got one thing in common. You know what that is?
I don't. Please, enlighten me.
They're good at keeping their money safe. Clark's cash is out there. I just know it. As far as your safety, you just took out a couple of brutes twice our size. It's plain to see you can take care of yourself.
I'm pretty good with my pistols, and Mr. Ackerman can talk his way out of anything. But we could use somebody who's good in a fight.
Besides, stick around old Jake long enough and you'll have enough material to write a whole book. Forget a measly little write-up in the local rag. I'm offering you a front row seat to a much better show.
I appreciate his
So,
copious use
what
of
do you
finger
say?
guns. This actually could be like an important choice. This will make a good story. I'm in but no funny business, where that money is as good as ours. I feel like... yeah, Vasco got him. Ayy. I feel like our character, despite like coming here for an opportunity to be a writer, isn't like overly concerned with the story. I feel like 2 is like kind of like a tough guy option that feels like it's in line with some of our choices up to this point. money is as good as ours feels like a little more like foolhardy hero. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning too.
All right, Mr. Ackerman, I'm in, but try anything funny, and I walk.
Understood.
You won't regret this, Miss Leger.
We'll set out for the lab at daybreak. And please, call me Jake.
It's implied
Dr.
that
Clark's
daybreak came and we were
laboratory is a
just
short
here now.
hike from Rosewater. After getting run out of Lamplight City, this is where he went to ground. A secluded desert facility where he could get up to who knows what. Jake, Danny, and I head there at first light to see what secrets he left behind.
Quite a sight, ain't it?
I'll say. What the hell was Clark doing out here?
Science.
That's a question for minds greater than ours, Miss Leger.
You don't know how dumb I am. Ah, rattlesnake noise. That feels like a useful save title for later.
Hey, Danny?
Ma'am?
Tell me your life story. In the context of like an adventure game and getting to know the character, just like approaching a character and randomly asking if they have family seems normal. But like, I'm just trying to imagine a real world scenario where we're like, all right, we're gonna storm the laboratory. I'm like, hey, you got family? And then I don't really care what his answer is. I just like immediately after that just completely disengage from the conversation.
I want to know something about you, Danny.
Okay. Like what?
Have you got any family?
Sure. My parents and older brother live on the coast, near El Presidio. I write them every month. I haven't seen them in a dog's age, though. But Jake's been like family to me, really.
You and Jake known each other long?
Gosh, that's a good question. I guess it's been about 2 years?
Sounds about right.
Time goes by quick when you travel around as much as we do.
What did you do before becoming Jake's assistant?
Oh, nothing glamorous.
Fashion model.
I was a stable hand in Quick Point. Life with Gentleman Jake is certainly more,
No, it's the same amount of horse crap.
How did you two meet up, anyway?
Oh, Jake tells the story much better than I do. Ask him.
That's fun.
Just how old are you, anyway?
I'll be 21 this winter, but I can handle myself just fine if that's what you're worried about.
True enough. Danny's more experienced than some folk twice his age. You'd be a fool to underestimate him.
We should get a move on.
They did a really good job of finding some like Western sounding voice talent. I'm like, I really like the sheriff and the doctor and even like Jake. Like, it's not just that like I think they're like especially good voice actors. I'm not trying to like demean any of the other voice actors here, but like there's just like a vocal quality that they managed to find. Like these people are really good at like evoking the sort of like Western feel.
Can we talk?
What's on your mind?
I've got some more questions about you.
I'm always happy to answer.
How'd you and Danny get together?
I was packing up after a run of shows in Quick Point, having a hard time of it. You see, my assistant had up and left a few days prior, so I was flying solo.
Your assistant left? Why?
The showman's life ain't for everybody. I don't fault him for it. Anyhow, Danny comes up and offers to help with the crates. You should have seen him. Eyes wide, hands shaking, downright charming. So
I can see why he
Danny
wanted
gives
this
me
guy
a
to
hand
tell the
and we get
story.
to talking. Turns out he's got experience roping and shooting. Even gave me a demonstration. I offered him the job as my assistant on the spot. The rest, as they say, is history.
Just how did you come to learn about Clark's money?
Not long ago, I got to talking with a feller at the saloon. The whiskey had loosened his lips, and he blabbed all about the success of his aurum claim. But then he told me about how he'd invested most of that aurum in Clark's research, and how he wasn't the only
It's
one.
kind of interesting.
And you're certain these investors won't be wanting their money back?
Can't speak for the rest, but this feller won't.
You,
See, his aforementioned
killed
loose
him?
lips got him into trouble with some other folk. Poor bastard was shot dead in the street.
I see. Would you care to recount some of your previous adventures?
I'd love to, but I'm afraid now just ain't the time. Soon as we have a respite, I'll be glad to regale you.
I'm impressed, Miss Leger. Never thought I'd live to see the day Jake refused to tell his story.
Enough jabber. Let's
Sick
push
burn.
on.
Got him.
Now there's something you don't see every day.
You can
You
say
don't?
that again.
Now, there's something you don't see every day. I like that I can just leave for some reason. Let's approach, though. I wonder if there's, like, many screens of wilderness, like in King's Quest V. There's a lot of that in King's
Guess it
Quest
shouldn't
V.
come as
It's
a
brutal.
surprise that the front door is not wide open for us.
Ooh, a lock!
That's a serious-looking lock.
It looks
Way
like a
too
little
complicated
rabbit.
for these lockpicks.
So, how are we supposed to get in?
Maybe I could, like, steal some more lockpicks? Use these lockpicks to open a case that's locked that contains better lockpicks? Is that something?
Know if there are any locksmiths in town?
I'd prefer if we handled this ourselves. My old pal Captain Stokes is stationed nearby at Fort Beaumont. He owes me a favor or two.
Sounds like
Maybe
dynamite.
he could give us some high-powered equipment to get inside.
You read my mind, Danny boy. Wouldn't do any harm to take a look around out here first, though.
Ooh. Ooh. So you're telling me that there are multiple ways to handle this, eh? That's what that suggests to me, anyway.
Dr. Clark really liked his sarsaparilla. There must be at least 30 empty bottles in these crates.
I once drank 10 bottles of sarsaparilla for a bet.
Did you win?
Well, yes, and no.
Now I have to bend over to tell time, if you know what I mean.
Doing some tidying, are we?
We might find some use for these. Come help me. I can't carry them all myself.
Hey, I ain't gonna start belly aching if you want to go around collecting refuse. Might fetch us a few shillings if we sell them back at the Jack of Diamonds.
There you go. And some for you.
Thanks.
That was odd, even by my Adventure Game protagonist
Empty
standards.
sarsaparilla bottles.
What's going on in here?
Must take ages for any correspondence to get out here.
Probably beats having to hike into town, though.
Looks like Clark missed his last mail delivery.
Maybe he got his, like, secret lair dragon lords today like I did.
Seems to be from another scientist.
February 12th, 1850. Dr. Clark, I hope this letter finds you well.
These
Upon
voice
hearing
actors.
news of the reactionary and ignorant ban our leaders have seen fit to impose, my thoughts went to you and your thankless labors in the wilderness. When they hounded you out after the expo, and I wouldn't be surprised if Leroy's cronies sabotaged your display to discredit you, you were undaunted. After enduring such a trying year, I know how much building that lab out there meant to you. A turning point in your fortunes, or so it seemed. Yet I am sure you will persevere once more. One day, when rationality again prevails in the halls of government and this silly thing is lifted, I hope to take you up on your offer of a tour. If you've returned to the bosom of civilization by then, all the better. With warm regards, Dr. Roderick Nethersoul. P.S. How you managed to rig a TT-180 console to control both your equipment and door mechanisms still baffles me. Mine is destined for the scrapyard.
TT-180? Oh, I gotta learn how that works. Is that just a big old graphing calculator? Never seen sarsaparilla. What does it taste like? I don't know. I'm not sure if you can get sarsaparilla anymore. I want to say it's like mainly soda water, but I think there's something else to it. I really have largely heard of it only in the context of like Western stories, so I think it like predates modern stuff for the most part.
The good doctor was pretty self-sufficient out here.
So I can't like really like creep around this place much.
Locked up tight.
Whoever closed this place up really didn't want anybody getting in.
So strange. Considering that
This is one of the sturdiest locks I've ever seen.
I think we're gonna need to get creative. The fort's stockpile might have something that could help.
It's similar to root beer, eh? Okay. I mean, will you even let me try this?
No use. This lock is way too complicated.
I think we're gonna need to get the fort.
Listen, that letter's gotta be something.
Wonder if Dr. Clark boarded these up himself. Dr. Clark really liked his sarsaparilla.
Don't imagine that talking to these guys are gonna give me much.
Hey, Danny?
Ma'am?
Got any of your own ideas on how we might get into the lab?
Well, I think Jake has the right idea. We should ask for help at the fort.
We should get a move on.
TT-180. Oh, a stranger. Is that a tinfoil hat?
What are you doing? This is no place for sightseers.
I gotta say, my first instinct is that this is the scientist. So, like, it seems really funny to ask him how to get into the lab, doesn't it? It's probably not the smartest thing to do, but, like, if it were him, that would be kind of a funny way to introduce ourselves.
We're not sightseers. We're trying to get into the lab. Do you know a way in?
Such disrespect. You toy with forces you do not understand.
The lady asked you a question, sir.
Heed my warning. Stay away from this place. Its mysteries are not for you.
Hey, wait! You forgot your... hat?
What was that all about?
Good question. Tinfoil. Why was that man wearing it as a hat?
Well, it can also be a hat.
This isn't really my style.
It's funny that it lets me do that, but I don't know what to do with it. Like, finish a circuit somewhere? Like in a later step of this process? How would I mean, one thing that makes me a little bit crazy here is, like, if we're... So, like, real talk. If we're willing to go to the trouble to get, like, heavy ordnance to, like, explode our way into this door, like, shouldn't we be willing to, like, go get, like, a hammer and, like, de-board the windows and, like, cut or smash our way in? Like, doesn't it seem like the dynamite is probably, like, an extreme solution? Like, as far as the game has indicated to me, it's not as though the windows are, like, bulletproof or something.
This isn't...
The fact that I can still wear it as a hat makes me think that there's, like, some world in which wearing it as a hat does something.
No sign of that odd bearded fellow. I wonder where he scampered off to.
I reckon we got ourselves bigger fish to fry right now, Miss Leger.
Wow, this is so Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, it's actually ridiculous. Huh. So I can really only go the two places. I think I kind of have to go to the fort. I just don't think there's actually enough information or resources for us to go off. Whether or not we actually end up blowing our way inside is a separate matter.
Hey, look, a show!
What a racket.
She's pretty good, though.
What's
Nobody in
this?
sight, but I'm sure there are guards somewhere. Hey, anybody in there?
What is it?
We'd like to buy tickets to your fort, I guess. Let's start by asking the very straightforward question of what goes on in this fort, aka, like, what's your whole deal?
What do you all get up to in this place?
I'm really not at liberty to say, ma'am.
No, I get it, but, like, what do you do? Is it crimes?
Would you happen to know anything about the lab just over that way?
No, and quite frankly, I don't care to.
We'd like to come in, please.
More unannounced visitors? Must be my lucky day. What country exile?
No, my light bulb burned out.
None. We just want to speak with Captain Stokes.
Afraid he's indisposed.
Why don't you tell Stokes that Jake Ackerman needs a word?
Gentleman Jake?
At your service.
We're not in the market for entertainment. It's like I said. Oh, dad blasted.
Dad blasted?
Would you knock it off with the shooting already? I can't hear myself think!
It's so funny that we managed to time that when they were, like, reloading the guns and not actually making noise.
You call yourself a soldier when the sound of gunfire sets you quivering like a coward? Pathetic.
Chill. God, these animations are killer.
Look, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
But, like, pretty
I wouldn't be
please?
asking to see Captain Stokes if it wasn't important.
I opened the gate for the last person who said that to me today. And what did I get as a reward? His 2 cronies raising hell for the past hour. No, ma'am, not again.
Carry on, soldier.
Right.
Excuse me? I said, excuse me. Hey!
Caramba, you made me miss. What do you want?
Do you know anything about the nearby lab?
Do you know anything about the laboratory just over
The
yonder?
Yonder lab?
That abandoned wreck is a laboratory?
It was at some point.
Clearly, you know more about it than I do.
Who are you, and what are you doing out here?
I am Marisol de la Vega, Lieutenant General of the Constitutional Army of New Spain. My compadre is Corporal Eugenio Garcia.
Pleasure. I'm Harley Leger, and these are my associates Jake Ackerman and Danny Luo.
Good to meet you. In answer to your second question, Eugenio and I are practicing our shooting while we wait for our jefe to conclude his business.
Who did you say you were waiting for?
Our leader, General Filomeno Marquez. Surely you've heard of him.
I'm gonna say no. I don't know if this matters. But letting them, like, grandstand, I don't know, feels like they might want to do that.
Afraid not.
Híjole, it really is true. Vespuccians don't pay attention to anything unless it happens right in front of their faces.
That is
Do you
true.
know of the new Spanish Revolution?
Should I?
Ugh.
Tell me about this revolution. Will it be televised? Have they invented that
What
technology?
about this revolution, then?
I do not have the time or the desire to explain the particulars of our struggle to you. Pick up a non-imperialist periodical if you can find one, and you might learn something.
Great. Now that we're such good friends, can you shoot somewhere else?
Say, do you think you could practice your shooting somewhere else?
Why?
The fort guard isn't happy about the noise.
Well, then maybe he should choose another profession.
Oh, God. Do I have to be the one to do this? Can't we let... Danny Luo is supposed to be really good at shooting.
You're pretty good, but I bet I can beat you at shooting.
I am the best shot in New Spain.
Care to prove it?
Gladly. But a large stationary target such as this is not suitable for a contest. If you wish to challenge me, find some moving targets.
Can we use these bottles as targets?
Indeed, we can.
Oh,
well,
good.
Prepare to be humiliated.
Say, Jake, could you give us a hand?
My pleasure.
How many bottles are there?
About 30.
Then we will each shoot at 5. Whoever breaks the most wins.
Sounds fair.
I am feeling generous this morning. Would you like the opportunity to practice first?
Yes, actually.
Very well.
Ready with those bottles, Jake?
Yep, get ready. Set. Incoming.
Damn.
Bottle in the air.
Damn it.
Here we go.
I'm not winning this.
Damn it.
Incoming.
You missed.
Here we go.
Damn it.
I've decided we should do something else now.
All right, for real this time.
Ready, set. Here we go.
Hot damn.
Incoming.
Damn it.
Here we go.
Damn it.
Bottle in the air.
Nice shot.
Incoming.
Hot damn.
My turn.
Incoming.
Dale.
Here we go.
Take that.
Bottle in the air.
Anda.
Incoming.
Take that.
Bottle in the air.
Caramba. I win.
The only way to win is to hit all 5? Oh, that's not happening.
Next time, sweetheart.
Okay, new plan. You guys be the moving targets and try not to die. Hold on, this'll help.
This isn't really my style. Hey.
Ma'am?
You said before you were good with your pistols. Any advice on how I might best that loudmouth at shooting?
Moving targets aren't easy to hit. Best advice I can give is to try shooting just ahead of where you think it'll go.
Well,
Of course,
yeah, but
I can
like
give it a
they
try
are calling
myself
really
if you want.
wonky arcs. And this is an interesting choice. Because, like, I feel confident that if I tell him to do it, he will just do it. And, like, I miss out on, like, some achievement. I wonder, though, if that has some, like, significant effect on story or something. Like... Okay, hold on.
We should get...
So, like, I can save scum this to have enough chances to, like, hopefully shoot 5. Like, I'm not particularly good at this sort of thing, but also, I genuinely feel like there's something, like, a little bit weird about the... Like, the bottles move really quick, and they don't feel like they're following a really smooth, like, arc trajectory, so, like, it seems tough to, like, just simply, like, aim where they're going to be. Got your dates mixed up again. You're just in time for a really loud contest, Project Eos. Let's give it another shot.
Hey!
You again. What is it now?
I wasn't quite prepared last time.
It's interesting how frequently the game will let me offer bribes to people.
Insist. Remember, whoever hit, get on with it.
No need for... Ready, set, incoming.
Hot damn.
Incoming.
You missed.
Bottle in the air.
Damn it.
Here we go.
Damn it.
Here we go.
I'll get the next one.
My turn.
Here we go. Incoming. Here we... Here...
Caram.
Yeah, so she'll always hit 4.
Nice try.
Perhaps...
Hey!
Like, the weird thing about this challenge is simply that, like, this is clearly, like, a role-playing game challenge that's, like, framed like an adventure game puzzle, which is really not. Like, I guess my point is, like, I don't think that I should feel bad about, like, letting the character who's supposed to be good at shooting do the shooting, but, like, I feel like the game is like insulting me, and so I want to do it even though I'm not good, and I'm going to do bad at
Third
it.
time's the charm.
I'm beginning to think. Let's get
Ready, set, incoming.
I'll get the next one.
Bottling.
Okay, immediately screwed.
Incoming.
A little bit of this is probably that like I am not used to like a super high mouse sensitivity, and it's like really hard to get like a smooth like micro movement the way this is set up, and I don't think that's an adjustable setting.
Bottle in the air.
Damn.
Like if you've ever seen me like set,
Didn't even stay.
yeah, there's like a finite number of these, which is why we're currently save scumming.
Hey.
You again.
One more.
I think you've embarrassed.
That's all.
Okay, it's time for that cheating I mentioned earlier.
Hey.
Remember the time I hadn't quite embarrassed myself as much as I had previously?
You.
I wasn't.
Remember, get on.
No. Ready, set, here we go.
I'll get the.
Here we
It's just it's so unforgiving. It's very annoying.
Hot day.
Here we go.
Damn it.
My
Bottle in the air.
Dale.
Here we go. In.
Damn. Nice.
Perhaps.
Hey.
You.
Third time.
Let's get
ready, set, bottle in the air.
God, it's so annoying to like miss one and then just like immediately have no chance at it. Like I get it from a narrative standpoint, it's very annoying.
Here we go. Incoming. Bottle.
It also doesn't even have the decency to like mix up the one that she misses. It's always the last one.
Hey.
You.
I was.
Get up.
No. Ready, set, here we go.
Pure luck.
Bottle in the air.
Damn it.
It's just like like the ones that go really hot. So okay, like I promised. Like listen, it's clear that I suck at this. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not. But can we all just acknowledge that when they arc high and hit the top of the screen, they like make a 90-degree bounce that is wildly unnatural? Like that's not how parabolas work.
Damn.
Perhaps.
Bye.
Hey.
It's really funny that I have to say that if I found this problem before I just randomly picked up the bottles like a stooge, I don't think I would interpret a case of glass bottles as the moving targets I need.
Third time's the.
Let's get
ready, set, incoming.
Oh, I clicked early because like I wanted to start and it was obviously bad, but like it's just like this needs like a better like cooldown time. It's like very annoying. It's like very annoying. Like it's like bad enough to lose and have to try again, but then like you have to like watch in like barely skippable fashion her like perfectly shoot 4 out of 5 shots again.
Remember, get up.
No. Ready, set, here we go.
Oh, God.
Damn it.
Incoming.
Yeah, even the low ones take a weird like I honest to God, I need someone to acknowledge this, because, like, it is insane. Like, watch how the bottles move. They make, like, an L in the sky. Like, gravity doesn't work that way. They're like, yeah, just, like, shoot ahead of the targets. And then, like, they, like, defy physics. I'm gonna give this, like, one more try, and then I'm just, like, over this, because, like, realistically, you would just tell the guy who's good at guns to do this, so I don't really, like, I'm not that bothered. I feel like I want to give this a real shot, but I feel like I've basically done that. I don't think it's the size of the crosshair that's the problem. It's the speed at which the bottles move, coupled with the weird physics that make it harder. Like, you know, like I'm inclined to agree with you that, like, for an adventure game, like, this is, like, a weird level of, like, hand-eye coordination. And, like, the reason I don't play games that require good hand-eye coordination is because I play adventure games. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, they shouldn't put this in the game. In fact, they give you the out to, like, just have someone else do it, which makes it fine. But, like, in terms of it just sort of being a good minigame, it feels a little rough around the edges, in my opinion. And, like, I maintain that the biggest culprit to that is, like, yeah, aim ahead of the moving target to hit it, sure. But when it moves in a completely unpredictable way, because it will randomly, like, arc down, like, at a 90-degree angle suddenly, like, you cannot reliably predict that movement, because it's not happening at the same point on the screen. So, like, there is just, like, a chaotic element that's actually legitimately hard to play around, even if you were better at hand-eye coordination than I am.
I wasn't.
Remember, get up. No, ready, set, here we go.
Hot damn.
Incoming.
I'll get the.
Hot
damn.
Pure.
Damn.
Yeah, I haven't beaten 3 out of 5 yet, but that's tied for my PB. There's gotta be an achievement for this that I don't care that much about, but I'm still mad.
You would.
Third time.
Let's set here.
It starts down, and then, like, that's the thing that kills me, is, like, if you could try this again quickly, or, like, I mean, like, I get why they don't want you to have unlimited retries, but even if you could just, like, refresh it quickly, like, if your first shot was subject to, like, the weird, harsh arcing, it'd be like, oh, shoot, let me retry that. But you literally have to do 9 more shots in a row, 4 of yours and 5 of hers, that are completely inconsequential to try again. Like, that makes it more annoying than it needs to be.
Even stand.
Hey.
You would.
Also, always great when you have to, like, interrupt a long animation loop to, like, interact.
Remember, get on with it, mustache wax.
No need for name calling, madam. Ready, set, incoming.
I'll get the next one.
Here we go.
I swear to God, all of those arced down, like, directly before I would have shot them in motion. Like, that was punitive.
You would.
Third time.
Do you like that her male companion just says nothing?
Ready, set, incoming.
I'll get the.
That one's fully on me, but it still sucks. Just okay.
Hey.
Ma'am?
Okay, Danny. Let's see what you've got. Think you can teach that show-off a lesson?
It'll be my pleasure.
And now I have to watch him do it, which is also insulting. And he also has to wait for the looping animation to stop.
Boy? I think I'd like to beat you at that bottle shooting.
Oh, this is gonna be good. All right, kid, let's see what you got.
Why don't you go first? Show me how it's done.
My pleasure.
Ready, set, here we go!
Damn!
Incoming!
Dale!
Incoming!
How come when he does it, she misses the first shot? Wait a minute!
Dale! Let's see you beat that!
Ready, Danny boy?
Yep. Don't worry.
Why did she miss 2 against him? That's messed up! Oh my god, he gets like special sound effects for how good he is at shooting bottles. So stupid.
Beaten by a chinito de mierda. Eugenio, vámonos de aquí.
She's not a very good sport.
Never mind her. That was some fine shooting.
Indeed. I was getting the hang of it, but I'm glad you saved us the time.
Glad I could help.
That's more or less my actual feelings about the situation. Like, my hang-up is this. Like, I do stand by, like, I think the physics there are a little busted for that to be, like, an actual competition of skill. But, like, also, like, I just, like, personally didn't find that fun enough to keep grinding it after a certain point. So, like...
Hey, guard!
What is it?
Sure is a nice, peaceful morning, isn't it?
What happened to those cacophonous varmints?
They took
What a
their
very
business
good question.
elsewhere. Now, would you be so kind as to let us in?
So long as you promise to keep it down.
Deal.
What?
Well now, what have we here?
I appreciate your hospitality, Captain, but I must admit I am perplexed by the change in your position.
It's not my position, General Marquez. It's the position of the government of the Commonwealth of Vespuccia. I have some discretion in the execution of my orders, but I'm sure you can appreciate that there's a chain of command.
I am, of course, most grateful for the aid you have rendered in the past. I am sure that your recommendations carry weight with your superiors. If you would be willing to lend your influence in support of our cause.
Perhaps we can speak of this at another time, Mr. Marquez. As I said, I have other concerns to deal with.
Of course. I look forward to our next meeting.
Captain Stokes, you're a difficult man to see.
Ackerman, how the hell are you?
Leave this to me. I'll have Stokes eaten from the palm of my hand.
Good day,
I read that subtitle, sir.
Madam? Just a moment. I have seen you before.
I'm surprised you saw much of anything after that tumble you had.
Ah, of course. The newspaper office. You left me lying in the street.
I'm sorry, but I had things to do.
Is there not one selfless person in this country?
Look, if I see you falling out any more windows, I'll pull out my net. Fair?
Amusing. What's your name, anyway?
Harley Leger. This is Danny Luo, and over there is Jake Ackerman.
Sir?
I am General Filomeno Marquez. Though Filomeno seems to be difficult for you Vespuccians, so you may call me Phil.
Phil it is. Good to meet you.
And you, I suppose. What brings you to the fort?
I don't think this guy is my friend. We've also alienated his comrades. I misinterpreted it at first. When that guy said he, like, let someone in and then had to deal with his two associates, I thought he meant that those people were inside and that people who worked at the fort were outside being jerks. I was a little confused at the contention there. But it seems like this dude came in to talk to the general, and those two were being jerks outside. Nakeem, thank you for stopping by, and appreciate you dropping that link in Discord and just showing up. I'm glad it seems like you've been enjoying this. I know I have. I feel like I don't trust this guy so much that I necessarily want to tell him about the abandoned lab. We're trying to like steal a bunch of like cowboy pirate treasure or whatever. So let's just say we're doing Jake's thing.
Well,
I don't know.
Jake's the one who suggested coming here. Seemed to think Stokes could help us get into this abandoned lab.
Okay, or we could just say it anyway, I guess.
Why might that old ruin interest you, eh?
You ask an awful lot of questions.
Only because we may share a common interest.
Then why don't you lead with that?
Get the laboratory open so we could both go in. If Stokes were not so stingy with his munitions.
How do you mean?
My specialty is demolitions and explosives.
Demolitions, you say?
I do not have any on hand right now. I thought perhaps the captain might once again be willing to assist a fellow warrior in a righteous cause, but...
It's like I told Mr. Marquez, my hands are tied. Much as I'd like to help, I've got enough to worry about with my men missing. In fact, I was just heading out to search, so if you'll excuse me.
Hold your horses, Captain. How about we come with? I'm sure you could use the extra eyes.
It's mighty kind of you, Ackerman. Can't promise it'll be safe, though. We'll be going near native territory.
Come on, Stokes.
Are we gonna recruit
Forget who you're talking
the medicine
to?
woman?
I laugh in the face of danger. We'll ride with you.
I hope he laughs like Titus from Final Fantasy X.
No?
That he is, and he doesn't ever seem to let up.
You're all in, then?
Apparently so.
I will accompany you as well.
Sorry, who are you?
Y'all can get acquainted on the trail. Let's get going. Sun's almost up.
Is this game gonna become an unavowed?
Appreciate y'all coming out with me. Strength in numbers and all that.
Our pleasure, Captain.
Exactly who is it you're looking for?
My first lieutenant, John Mulberry.
Is Danny falling behind? No, I think it's just my brain misinterpreting the parallaxing or whatever. Question for you, Vasco. What do you think would be a fun gay cowboy name? Ocadius was asking me earlier for a gunslinging, rootin' tootin' D&D character. I'd have to give that some thought. Like, I'm sure I could come up with a good name, but, like, I don't have one handy. When did your friend go missing?
When did your man go missing?
He left leading the patrol last evening and they never returned. I just hope the natives didn't get him. Things have been a bit tense of late.
Okay, the last time I was able to ask several questions, there was a limit to how many I could ask. Tell me about your relationship with the natives.
How do your soldiers and the natives get on with each other?
Not too well, I'm sorry to say. We've allowed them their space, left them in peace, but somehow that ain't enough. They seem temperamentally disposed toward causing trouble.
Have you tried asking what's upset them?
Miss Leger, with all due respect, you've no idea what you're talking about. We've already given these folks an inch, but they have taken a mile. The government's tried appeasing them with treaties and such, but those ain't worth the paper they're written on. You'd sooner reason with a coyote.
Well, I think... Ah!
Don't shoot his hat?
Engines!
It's implied some people are getting messed up. Either that or my graphics card died.
So far, we have been stymied in our efforts to search Clark's laboratory. Captain Stokes let out a search patrol, and he let all us supplicants tag along. But it wasn't enough to deter the native war party that ambushed us.
I am not surprised that we've been taken
captive.
captive.
Laid for him, leaving us four to stand in his stead. Now we await intelligence of our captors and some sign of our fate.
Well, isn't this a fine turn of events?
I'm torn because that feels like a really good place to leave off, but like I also just want to play more of the game.
Must be for storage. Completely empty. Wonder what they use these for.
Head catchers would be my guess.
Hey, so funny.
Do they have
It's
a
not
native
meant to
guillotine?
Empty. This basket's full of soap.
Well, at least we can keep clean.
Uh-huh. Except there is no water in here.
Then let's hope we can get out of here soon.
Yes. Bathing is our priority concern. I appreciate that exactly one of these characters is pacing.
It's quite ornate. Brightens the place up, I suppose.
It is noble to find beauty in dark moments, but perhaps not so very useful.
Dried
What
corn.
about corn?
At least we won't starve.
If that's all there is, starving might be preferable.
Dried corn.
Some big corn up here.
I suppose all of these were made here. Quite a collection. Hey, Danny?
What is it?
What's
You
wrong?
nervous?
Nervous?
Aren't you?
Not really. I don't think these folks mean us any harm. If they did, they wouldn't have gone through the trouble of capturing us.
I didn't think of it that way. I sure hope you're right.
You and Jake must have gotten into scrapes like this before, right?
Well, I have, yes. Although it was before I met Jake. But is this really the time for stories?
Fair enough. Perhaps another time. Were you able to see how Captain Stokes fared?
I lost sight of him when I got knocked off my horse. Sure hope he made it, though.
I'm not so concerned about him for the
Got
moment.
any thoughts on how we might get out of here?
They took my guns, so... not really. You should ask Jake. He's the one with all the clever tricks.
Phil?
Eh?
I never imagined volunteering for a search party would include free accommodation.
You pick the strangest time to make jokes, eh? Although, I suppose it is better than falling apart. That is usually what happens.
Did you see what became of Captain Stokes?
Yes, though I wish I had not.
What happened?
Cobarde.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
He turned and ran. Took his men and abandoned us.
No.
To think I held him as a man of honor. Bastardo!
I wonder what that means.
Whoa!
Easy there, Phil.
Forgive me, but...
I think that was
not
important.
Abide a deserter.
I
It
probably
takes
need
a
some,
low
like,
sword to
pottery
abandon
fragments or
someone who's
something.
counting on you. So, this isn't the first time you've been locked up?
Certainly not. At least these people seem more hospitable to their prisoners than the Spanish.
Got any suggestions for how we might get out of here?
Not just yet. I want to see how things play out.
What do you mean?
Something about this does not feel right.
I actually agree with
Very
that.
little of our captors. I cannot devise anything until that changes.
I'll just be over here.
Let me just,
Did smashing that pot make you feel any better?
It did, yes.
Oh, okay. It can't hurt to have a pottery fragment. And I got some soap. And I got a sick tinfoil hat.
Hey,
Miss Leger?
Making yourself comfortable?
Not really. His bench is hard as a rock.
It should be hard as wood.
Back support, too. But it's as good a place as any to think of a way out of here.
Did you manage to see what became of Captain Stokes?
No, I was a mite preoccupied. Just as well. If I'd known he was running off, I'd have shown him a thing or two.
Surely a fellow of daring do like yourself has been in a predicament like this before?
More times than I can count.
How do you manage to get free?
Well, you gotta understand, every situation's different.
Uh-huh.
The easiest way's usually bribing a guard. But sometimes, you gotta get creative. Well, this one time But no, that wouldn't work here.
Why not?
'Cause I'd need a few things, and coming by them in here will be next to impossible.
Oh, please tell me what they are.
It's at least worth trying.
I reckon you're right. Main thing I need is something pliable, like wax or soft wood. They
Got
have
you some
something
soap?
sharp to shape it with.
Got you,
Finally,
pottery
some
shard?
shiny material. Metallic looking would be best. Find me those things, we might be in business.
Something like tinfoil?
This isn't really my style.
I'm gonna miss it if I use this on the puzzle, because I presume I wouldn't get it back.
Will this work for what you need?
Shiny and metallic. Perfect.
Ooh, I can smell the soap. It's kind of like licking something. You don't normally get to smell stuff in adventure games.
Smells like lye.
I suppose it should.
A block of soap. Now, if only I had some water. Is this pliable enough for you?
This'll do nicely.
This sharp enough for you?
It'll do, it'll do. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. You got everything.
Yeah, I had it all before you even asked.
Now, will you tell me about this plan of yours?
I'm bluffing our way out of here. Give me a few minutes and you'll see what I mean.
He's gonna make it look like a gun? He's gonna shape a gun?
Voila.
You carved a gun out of soap and wrapped it in tinfoil?
That's right.
I was correct. That's,
It's certainly creative, I'll give you that.
Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. Anyhow, soon as somebody comes in, I'll draw this and catch them off guard. You knock them out in the confusion, then we make our escape.
And you have confidence this will work?
These folk don't know firearms, they can't tell the difference.
But, what if...
Hello in there? I'm coming inside.
oh no, this is the medicine woman for sure. She does not sound native.
Greetings. I'm Nadine.
Yeah, it's Nadine.
I've come to...
Hands up!
Is that a fake gun?
Get wrecked, idiot.
Yes.
Don't mind my friend here. Nadine, was it?
Yes, Nadine Redbird.
Harley
Oh,
Leger.
Nadine is native. Demolition says, holy cow, wasn't tinfoil insanely expensive back then? I mean, alternate history, but I would assume so. But like, you know, a guy had a whole tinfoil hat, which also seems like wildly anachronistic for the alternate period of history. Yeah, this is a very like, okay, we'll make a giant wooden rabbit, and then you, Sir Galahad, and I will jump out of the rabbit, they say, from a distance.
Wait a minute. Weren't you Doc Sedgwick's apprentice?
That's right. You know him?
We spoke briefly, and he took care of Phil over there.
That's good. I do miss working with him.
Does that mean this is a medical call?
The chief sent me to make sure none of you were hurt. She also wants to speak with whoever's in charge of your group.
That would be me.
All due respect, sir, but after that little trick you just pulled, you're out of the running.
I'll go then.
All right, come with me.
Interesting.
I bring you Miss Harley Leger, representing the captives.
Thank you, Nadine. You may return and tend to the others.
I will.
Enter and be welcome. You may call me Chief Lutzi. I am responsible for the people of this village.
Pleasure's all mine.
You have violated the borders of the Autumn Nation.
Ah,
Duly established by recognized treaty with your government. Miss Leger, why are you here?
I definitely don't want to start by accusing them of attacking us, although, in a sense, that is fair. I'm not sure between the other options. Like, rather than say we were looking for some soldiers, I feel like I'd rather say, like, some people were missing and we were looking for them. Because, like, defaulting to calling them soldiers makes it sound like, you know, we have sort of militant intentions. I'm just not sure if, in the game's logic, they're interpreting, like, option 3 of we were just riding along with Captain Stokes as, like, trying to skirt responsibility entirely. I'm not sure I've fully sussed out the degree of difference between the dialogue choice and the spoken dialogue. I feel like I have evidence that it's definitely not always 100% representative of the vibe of what you will end up saying.
Captain Stokes is missing some troops, and we were helping in the search.
Okay.
You serve Stokes. Curious. You do not dress like a soldier.
We have nothing to do with the fort.
Who are you, then?
I'm a journalist for the Rosewater Post. My
That's
companions
one
and
thing
I
you could
are
say.
Researching Dr. Bennett Clark. We only came to Stokes to ask for help getting inside the abandoned laboratory on the other side of the valley. Thought maybe you could spare some dynamite or something. But first we had to ride with him to find First Lieutenant Mulberry and his missing men.
I see. What did he tell you of us?
Let's
He
just
was rude.
say he didn't paint a very pretty picture.
Unsurprising. Do
Yeah.
you share his opinion?
No, he sucks. It is interesting that it lets you have these choices. But like, even setting aside that this game seems to be taking a reasonably representative approach to like natives, despite it being like an alternate history and not like an actual historical tribe or anything like that, of just like the type of tension that existed between settlers in this era and the people who natively lived in the land. Just like the way that Stokes spoke about them. And even we were sort of like, did you try like dealing with them as if they were people? And he was like, no, bleh, ugh. Like, yeah, okay, now that guy sucks. Like, just generally, that's not someone I feel like I'm gonna get along with very well.
Not at all. Stokes is just some windbag I met this morning. I'll make up my own mind.
That is good to know. The aurum mean you no harm, Miss Leger. However, for months, the fort soldiers have routinely violated our borders and harassed our people. Just last night, a band of them came, led by this man.
Is he dead?
Mulberry.
I don't care
They
strongly,
attacked
but
us
I should
in our
know.
fields and set fire to our crops.
Oh, that's really messed up.
Were there any casualties among your people?
No deaths, although a number were burned or wounded in
Jeez.
the fight. As for Mulberry, we captured him. He is under guard in one of our empty storehouses. Stokes has turned our village into a prison, and now he is recruiting civilians to come after us. I fear this will not end until everything we have has been turned to ash. But I cannot allow that. Something must be done.
You're right. Can we help you in any way?
I believe so. And you can get what you're after as well.
I'm
Really?
listening.
Our scouts have observed an army wagon making regular deliveries to the fort from Rosewater. It comes in the night, when few others are willing to travel, and always it arrives a day or two after the train stops in town.
Then that would
Interesting.
be...
Yeah, tonight.
I just arrived on the latest train into Rosewater.
Yes, exactly. I cannot know for sure, but I believe this wagon carries supplies, along with weapons and munitions. The soldiers use these to strengthen themselves, then come and deprive us of what little we have. If you and your people were to obtain them, it would be to our mutual benefit. We would have a means of defense, you would have the tools to enter this laboratory, and Stokes would be deprived of his armaments.
I feel like I want to ask, would it be dangerous, just because I would like for them to recount anything they know about what the defenses would be
You're
like.
proposing we raid a military supply wagon? That sounds awfully risky.
Our peaceableness has bought us no safety. In doing nothing, we risk extermination at the hands of these men.
Tonight, then, huh?
Tonight, or not at all. The cover of darkness will be to your advantage. Our scouts have also noted that only 2 men guard the wagon.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
Tell the
pushing
others
for.
and get to planning.
You are welcome to rest here in the meantime.
Thank you, Chief Lutzi.
May the Earthmaker guide you.
I'm not sure what the appropriate response to that is. Like, I appreciate the sentiment of that.
Mr. Lua has some minor bruising, but your friends are otherwise healthy.
Good to know. Hey, fellas, come on out here. We got some business to discuss.
I take it your meeting with the chief went well?
I feel like my interpretation of this character would probably say 3, but I definitely feel like 1 is true.
Very well. In fact, we came up with a plan for how we can help these people and get what we're after. I hope you boys are ready for a little excitement.
Always.
Turns out the reason Mulberry didn't come back is that he was taken prisoner while conducting an unprovoked raid on this village. A raid Stokes himself ordered.
What?
Army soldiers have been crossing into Aurum territory and attacking them without justification.
It's true. I have treated many of the wounded myself.
Hijo de la... We cannot let this injustice stand.
That is troubling. But what can we do about it?
Chief Lutzi suggested we hit him where it hurts, the fort's supply chain. So we'll be carrying out our own raid on a delivery wagon.
And to think just yesterday you were having reservations about robbing folk. Reckon it's true what they say about the frontier changing people.
These are some interesting options. I don't mind robbing for a good cause. I have no qualms about robbing the government, or this is our best chance to get what we're after. I like that those all sort of represent at least slightly different approaches. I feel like the top one aligns most closely with what I think the response here would be, is like, it's one thing to just like rob a person in cold blood, so to speak, and it's another thing to be like, that guy is doing crimes, let me stop that. So like, sure, the top one, good cause.
It may be stealing, but we're doing it to help the Aurum. I can live with that.
Sometimes one must perform distasteful acts in service of a righteous cause.
Now listen up, because we've got some preparations to make. And the wagon will be coming through tonight, according to the chief.
We can get the munitions Phil needs to get us into the lab, along with some weapons and supplies for the Aurum.
The old 1-2 punch. I like it.
Only question is, what's the best approach?
I'm thinking we create a distraction. We get the wagon to stop, then you and I keep the driver occupied while Danny and Phil sneak the stuff out.
I prefer
I like
a more
that.
direct approach. You said the wagon was poorly guarded, eh? We have enough fighters to overpower them. When they see they are outmatched, we should be able to take what we need.
I don't know about that. That sounds pretty risky.
Wouldn't
a
it be
third?
better to do this without drawing any attention? You
How
could
so?
set up a roadblock, then sneak out what you need while they investigate.
All good plans. Have you got anything, Danny?
No, but I think we should be careful. Something like this could so easily go wrong.
I definitely agree with that.
What's it going to be?
I really like this game. Like, it's definitely like, it's like Western Unavowed by way of Lamplight City. It's really good. It does all these subtle things that are so easy to take for granted, and it does them so well. I definitely don't like Phil's option best. Phil has grown on me as a character pretty quickly. I imagine that he's going to say some stuff that pisses me off at some point, for sure. Also, I definitely don't think I made a good impression on him by leaving him in the road, but I stand by it as the comedically appropriate choice. I don't know. I feel like Jake's plan is closest to the sort of thing I feel like I would want to do. I feel like if you could get Nadine's plan to work, it's the safest. Chad, do you have any strong opinions on this? You're also enjoying this? And there's no bill. That's so true, Neko. There is no bill. I mean, as I said, since, you know, the events of the first of Lamplight City make it clear that bill is no longer an option, I was not strongly concerned about that. Roll a dice. Does that mean you don't have a strong opinion? I mean, like, I would not put Phil's option on a die, so it'd basically be like flipping a coin. You prefer Nadine slightly over Jake? It's pretty close. It's pretty close for me. I think I'm sort of the inverse. I feel like I'm slightly Jake with Nadine second. All right. High roll. High roll, we do Jake. Low roll, we do Nadine. If this button still works. All right, Nadine it is.
Let's go with Nadine's suggestion.
I do think it's best if none of us are seen committing this act of banditry.
Agreed. This is a stealth job. Nadine and I will search the wagon. You boys hang back and take whatever we unload. Well, we better get ready. Let's hope this goes off without a hitch.
Get different achievements for picking different plans. We got the Nadine achievement.
What in tarnation? What's all this crap in the
It would help for us to know that there was... Did they mention that there was like a narrow pass we could make this kind of roadblock? Because like that would make me favor this option a little more readily, I think.
I don't think we'll have long.
Just a bunch of uniforms. Help me with this, would you, Nadine? Jackpot. Here's some dynamite. And a good cache of firearms. These should serve the Aurum well. There's also a letter.
What does it say?
It's a manifest. Hang on. Here's the combination for that safe.
Whatever you do, be quick.
Hold on.
February upon
Nope, that's not.
P.S.
It's just implied I have the combination of the safe now.
I'll be damned.
What is it?
Bars of aurum.
Oh, God.
Lots of them.
Odd. Why deliver these to the fort?
Good question.
Let's stop asking
Bet they're
questions.
Marked. We could have had a nice payday, but at least
Take 'em
there's a
anyway.
bit of loose cash in here.
Oh,
we
sick.
haven't much time left.
Nadine, help me unload this. Let's get this out of here. Hey, did you see these crates over here?
What about
I can't
them?
read what's on
All marked
these.
Rosewater.
Isn't this delivery coming from Rosewater?
Yeah, that's very odd.
We should go. The guards won't be distracted forever.
Right. Let's get out of here.
I think I did a pretty good job there. I don't know.
You have come back to us. Did you obtain what you needed?
Yes, with this dynamite, getting into the lab will be quite easy.
Then I am glad the raid proved fruitful.
Chief Lutzi, I am curious. Now that you can arm your people, what is your plan?
I can certainly understand your curiosity, General Marquez.
You know me?
We are close enough to the new Spanish border to keep informed of current events. To answer your question, we will defend ourselves. Peace has not worked against those who wish to harm us, so we must answer them with force.
You strike me as a wise and capable leader, but allow me to offer one piece of advice. Do not underestimate your enemy. Nothing angers a tyrant like a show of resistance.
I appreciate it, General. But I believe we will overcome.
I truly hope you do.
We found something else. A safe filled with aurum bars.
And you did not take any?
They were all marked. Traceable. We'd have no use for them.
You could melt them down.
It's always something, isn't it?
The last thing we need is the royals on us for stealing their aurum.
The royal police? Nah, out here they'd send in the army. Or God forbid, the Blackburns.
The Union Busters?
Unions, heads, you name it.
The big
Ghosts.
question is, why send aurum to the fort?
An intriguing line of inquiry, but I ain't sure the fort's dealings should concern us.
Perhaps not. But I am curious as well. Something unusual is happening here. Stokes was all too happy to aid our cause before my exile. Now he acts like a stranger. It cannot be a coincidence. I am going to charge my Lieutenant General with finding out more about these shipments.
Chasing more wagons full of aurum?
Something like that. It is clear there will be no more aid from Stokes now, and I still have an army to outfit. Perhaps we will find something we can actually keep.
If money's what you're after, maybe you'd entertain the notion of joining our posse. That goes for you too, Miss Redbird.
What are you talking about?
I'll explain everything on the way back to the lab. Danny, you stay here and help unload the supplies. You can give Nadine the lowdown. Come meet us at the lab when you're done.
Will do.
I am sending one of our hunters to return Mulberry to the fort. He can show you the way back.
Much appreciated.
Really? They're
Right,
gonna return
let's get a
Mulberry.
move
That's
on.
interesting.
You coming with us, Miss Leger?
I'll make sure you don't get blown up.
Damn right. Someone's got to be sure you don't blow yourself sky high. And can it with the Miss Leger bunk? It's Harley.
Duly noted. Now let's get going.
Just one more thing before you go, Harley.
Hmm.
You said you were a journalist, yes?
That's right.
Do you
Debatably.
believe the townspeople would take an interest in our cause?
Some might. I can certainly tell my employer about the treatment you've received.
Please do. I have a statement I would
okay.
like to carry back. The Aurum are a peaceful people. We wish to be
Mm.
your good neighbors and friends.
I like it.
If a Vespuccian soldier or any other person comes with violent intent to harm us, we will do what we must to protect our people.
Got it. Would you be willing to sit for an interview with someone from the post?
Gladly. My words are for all who will listen with open hearts.
I'll make sure your message is received.
Thank you.
Stupid hat.
Thanks for showing us back, partner. We can take it from here. Well, would you look at that? Didn't think I'd be seeing old Jesse again. I'm keeping this arrowhead as a good luck charm.
Interesting.
And who knows?
Went
Maybe
to a lot of
some
trouble to
collector out
animate
there
that.
would be interested in acquiring the arrowhead that nearly wiped out Gentleman Jake.
Sure.
Is he always like this?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Rattlesnake? Okay, no.
I wonder how things will go for the Aurum now that they have firearms.
Well enough, I hope. Provided they don't point them at us.
I don't foresee that happening.
The flag Stokes was carrying.
Pity it's in such a sorry state.
I shouldn't leave this here.
It's good to see someone who respects their country.
Surprised he took a liking to that. I knew I was going to pick up just the flag, but somehow I am disappointed that I didn't just, like, pick up the entire, like, flagpole.
Hey, Phil? Let's talk.
What about?
So how did you wind up here in Vespuccia?
That is a very long story, and I do not
That's
wish
fair
to
enough.
relate it now. Perhaps another time?
Fair enough. I have to ask, what went on at the Rosewater Post?
Oh, now you are concerned, eh? You did not display much interest in my fate at the time.
Look, I had an
I'm interested
appointment.
now.
But recounting the story no longer interests me.
Right.
Ooh.
Carry on.
Yeah, this guy doesn't like me particularly. The soundscape is so good. Yeah, when we started, I was saying like I'd only played like a couple minutes to try and balance the audio, but I was like, wow, the music like really like evokes like this sort of Western feel. And then like as we've gotten into it more, like yeah, just like the soundscape overall, like the wildlife, it sounds like very like genuine, like really lived in.
Can we talk?
What's on your mind? 'Cause you know I've been wondering about the Aurum. What do you suppose will happen to them now that they're armed with guns?
Didn't I just ask that? Didn't I literally just ask him that? And he was like, I don't know, I hope they don't shoot us. Hopefully the soldiers will respect the borders.
Well, I hope. The army will respect their borders and leave them in peace.
I hope so as well, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
More likely, they will be seen as a greater threat. If Stokes attacks and they successfully fend him off, then perhaps he will leave them alone. But it will certainly not happen without bloodshed.
Well, best of luck to him.
Enough jabber. Let's push on.
You're quite certain you know what you're doing?
Just leave everything to me and stand far, far back.
I maintain that we really could have gone through the window, but yeah, we could do this too. The sprint away from explosives animation. Ooh. Very interesting.
Impressive work there, Phil.
Gracias.
And an explosion will certainly liven up your article. Eh, Harley?
Alright, that feels like a good place to leave off. Just make sure. That's weird. It didn't work. It's quite the effect. I know. It wasn't... I don't know exactly what they did there. Was that just like shader warping? It didn't look like a traditional animation to me. Let me just... okay. I think that's probably fine. Definitely think I have to do some editing or whatever. Yeah. This has been great. I had high hopes going into this, which rarely pays dividends when it has come to video games for me historically. But like, wow, it's just, it's ever like, I guess, and I don't want this to come across as harsh as it does, as I expect it to, because I do think it was a little bit hard on the Black Belt series when we recently played that. But like, even early on, it felt jarring to me that the Blackwell series didn't draw more from like the history of what had been successful with previous adventure games. It felt like it tried to reinvent the wheel for stuff that we had established with like a sort of effective pattern or whatever. But like this game is like the opposite of that. Like it's looked at like every game that's been good, including their own. I mean, it draws from stuff that's great about Lamplight City, and I think that's like a landmark adventure game. And it's just like, yeah, like Unavowed is a great adventure game. What if we like threw in some like weird like role-playing style nonsense? And then, you know, like they give us this early example with this kind of borked like test of skill that I'm incapable of solving, and they're like, yeah, like you could just get good and probably get like a cool achievement if you care. Or you could just like have the gunslinger do it and just like move on and do some puzzle solving. And like, that's great. I like that both those options exist. But yeah, I mean like I'm really digging the voice cast at large. I wouldn't say that I've specifically picked out any like weak link, but there are like multiple characters where I'm like, they're especially well chosen for this. I really like this. The soundscape, the music, the sound effects have all been really good. I like again, like, even though some of the sound effects they chose are a little cartoony, it somehow like fits. Like, the game's like a touch silly, but like it handles its subject matter with like care and like sensitivity. Yeah, I appreciate consequences to my actions. I'm a little concerned about the fact that I like did a crime and stole a pocket watch before because I didn't want to bribe the guy, but like those were really my only two choices. But actually, with a little bit of hindsight, the bribery mechanic, I think I've come to understand that it's supposed to be an alternate to, like, if you really get stuck with a puzzle, you can just pay your way out of it to a certain extent. It's kind of like having a limited number of hints, but instead of just like the hint telling you what to do and that being unsatisfying, you can like literally just pay someone money to not do the puzzle. And even as someone who like would really want to solve the puzzle, I think there's something actually really like clever and valuable to that. Like, that's a really interesting idea. And like the animations, like we've spared no expense on these animations for like an indie game. It's crazy. Like, this has already exceeded my expectations pretty significantly, and I was like hyped for this. Yeah, the realistic juggling, like lots of people like getting up from desks and going into doors and all sorts of like little subtle things that like I worked for a company that like did cheap animation, and it looked a lot worse than that. Like, most of the time. And I actually also really strongly appreciated the role of the dang door. It was like set up somewhat subtly to be like an important puzzle element, but then like it felt really satisfying. Like, that was a really fun moment for me to just be like, oh, I understand what I've done by like luring this guy over to this wall. Boop. Boom. But like, yeah, I mean, yeah, even stuff like Phil, like, not wanting to talk to us because we were rude to him. Like, that's so fair. Like, I'm not mad at all. Like, I think it was really funny to like commit to like not helping him. Like, I think that was a great start to the game, but then I think it's like totally valid for that character to be like, oh, so like now you kind of want to know why I got thrown out a window, eh? I mean, it kind of seems like it's in his best interest to tell us, because then we could go like, I don't know, get the story he wants printed. Although I guess he wanted like a redaction or something. I don't know. Anyway, I am really, really liking this. I'm not totally sure what's going. So let me give you the lowdown on next week, and I'll try to remember to deal with this on the Discord sometime soon. So I mentioned yesterday that I had interest in doing a pre-release for the Magic set that's coming out soon. The pre-releases are like next week. I have never lived anywhere where a Saturday like morning to afternoon pre-release wasn't the standard. Like, that had been the case way back in the day before they started making them local and you had to go to like major events at a site someplace. You know, like when in the transitional period, when they would like hold them at like hotels and other places of like moderate significance, like that was still sort of a like morning to most of the afternoon affair that would go late into the night if you want to do extra stuff. Here in Florida, it turns out that like nowhere within like 25 miles of where I am does like a normal Saturday day pre-release. There's like a Saturday night one at one location like 20 miles from here. There is like a handful of Friday ones that are all like Friday night when I would be streaming. And there's curiously one like Wednesday evening one for the week after this coming week, which I might try to do. But I'm gonna investigate what availability for those is like, and I don't know. I might end up skipping the Friday stream to do that. I think it is kind of important for me to like know people here or whatever. So the new Magic set will have a really pretty purple snake card. I don't know if I know specifically the one you're talking about. The Naga people are kind of essential to the dragon world. Like, one of the clans is sort of heavy with their presence. But like, is interesting. Like, it's just so alien to me. There's like some weird stuff about how these things are run in Florida that are very unfamiliar to me based on my limited research on this so far. But I will keep you posted. I think it's probably either going to be the case that like Friday and Saturday next week are both Rosewater, because I don't know how I would not be playing more Rosewater if I was streaming. Or I might be off Friday trying to do one of those events if that is the most convenient option, which it might be. Black, blue, and green. Yeah, the black, blue, green, the Sultai group are the ones that have most or all of the Nagas on this world, the snake folks. Yeah, so I saw a couple guests before. Before I could close out this stream, we must locate the secret Squirtles. Somewhere among the things in this room, the lovely, fluffy friends, I have hidden some number of Squirtles. If you are able to locate one of those Squirtles, it will be an omen of good luck for you in the coming days. So I encourage you to look around you and see if you can guess correctly where Squirtles may be hiding. Carlos. This is is this the... There's like a new like mystic snake equivalent. Demolition had made an Eevee guess. I'm not sure if he meant... I'm guessing he meant the big Eevee up there. Up top Eevee? Yeah, okay. Well, let's take a look. I'm going to start at the shelves. I have to remember to replace the bulb in the lamp back there. It's a little busted. It didn't change the lighting as much as I would hope it did. So let's start with... I think Demolition got his guess in first. Here's our polka doll Eevee. Get a good look at that. He looks like that. Very pointy ears. I really like them. Got a Squirtle back there. Neko had guessed that our lovely chocolate Easter bunny was hiding a Squirtle. No, it's hiding a separate Easter surprise. It's a different sleepy sheep that also has Easter bunny ears on. It's a good one.
Oh, darn.
And finally, we got Carlos, who is Clawsome. And, well, let's see. He's got a little happy aquatic friend with him. And, oh, look at that. He's got a couple of Squirtle pals. Here's our polka doll Squirtle. I like him, too. He's got the really pronounced beak. He's just got, like, just really good dimensions, little guy. I actually put two Squirtles back there for a reason, because the theme was I tried to make it like the warm color characters had Squirtles with them. And since I had my little Flareon up here, but she's too small to hold to hide an entire Squirtle, I put an extra Squirtle behind Carlos, who was behind her. Yeah. But long-eared friends. Yeah, I'm sure at some point we're gonna... I mean, like, I think I did like a big-eared friends, which I think is legally distinct from long-eared friends. Managed to find two different sheep. Maybe the stream is trying to tell me something about my odd hours. I think maybe it's trying to tell you to play more Super Mario RPG with the Sleepy Sheep item that you have to use 500 times before it becomes insanely overpowered and turns all the enemies into sheep. Orange Vulpix would have a Squirtle. Yep, it does. As does our Sugar Glider and Jigglypuff and Winnie the Pooh sort of on the borderline, but I gave him one. I mean, he himself is yellow. And also... Wink. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you, and I hope to see you again soon. I'll keep you posted on the Discord about what my plans are for next week. Tentatively, I'm going to say any streams that happen are going to be Rosewater. Then we'll just figure out if it's even possible to get into a pre-release at this point, which it may not be. But yeah, I've really been enjoying this. I hope you have too. I'm looking forward to playing more, and you should join if you can. Until then, take care of yourselves, and remember that you are clawsome.